Owen Wilson as Loki. Is not this simpler? Is this not your natural state? It's the unspoken truth of humanity that you crave in subjugation.
We are the show that's tried using the Konami code on dates to get to second base. I am Jeremy.
Steve.
Jesse.
V.
Remember, you can listen to this show and several others in the MSP library at missionstarpodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at rolling_20s. You can send me any fan mail, suggestions for the show, or hate mail at mspfreight@yahoo.com. You can subscribe to this show on iTunes and on Stitcher. We are still using the music of Machine Supremacy. You can find their music at machinesupremacy.com. At the beginning of the show, you heard a clip that probably blew your mind a little bit because it's Tom Hiddleston doing an impression of Owen Wilson as Loki. That's about all the explanation it really needs. We have a little bit of a format change this week because we had a surprise as we were working through the last few days. Villains Month is being pushed back, or at least a discussion of it is being pushed back by a week, because one of the devs, actually the project lead of the new City of Titans MMO, which is currently being funded on Kickstarter, has agreed to sit down and talk with us. We'll get to him in a little bit. How are you all doing this evening?
Well, I just had my first week in my new position at work, and I'm doing pretty good.
It's not doggy style, right?
No, it involves sitting on a forklift or my ass, and yeah, it's far more comfortable than stacking and all that other fun stuff.
You know, I don't know if that's a hell of an improvement from what I said.
It's voluntary, damn it.
Okay. Okay, I'm moving on. How are you, Jesse?
I'm a little happy. I got paid for a computer I gave to someone about in May.
All right. Found secret treasure.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. V, what's going on with you?
Oh, nothing new. Had a busy week.
Yeah. Well, so have I. I have actually managed to line up another surprise I'll give to you guys later in the show. It's kind of unbelievable that so much has happened in the last few days. But we will get started as we usually do with our Kickstarter corner. There is something I gotta mention right off the bat here, because as I said, we usually use the music of Machine Supremacy. It turns out they are having a fundraiser of their own through their website. They are trying to fund a new tour. It's currently going on. It's a 70-day project that's being run through December 1st, 2013 on their site. They currently have 134 backers, and because they're a Swedish rock band, it's in euros. But they've already raised 18,197 euros, and they're going to 6 countries.
Wow.
The more that they can get, the more countries they will eventually, as they put it, unlock. Currently, I'm trying to use the link, but my computer's a little slow. They're going to be in Finland, Russia, Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and the UK. If they can get it to 20,000 euros, they're going to unlock the next country, but they haven't mentioned which that is. I'm really hoping it's part of the US somewhere. I think their music is incredible. But back into some of the things we usually talk about, we're going to move things around a little bit because, as we mentioned, we are going to talk to the people in charge of City of Titans. Their Kickstarter is still going on. It's going till November 4th. It has 16 days currently on it. 3,211 backers. A goal of $320,000. Currently sitting at $456,231. They've actually added a buttload of stretch goals. Have you guys noticed this?
Yeah, I was looking at them all going, damn, I hope we get to 1 million.
I know. I mean, they've actually added a stretch goal of 550,000 where we get wings. You know, just at 500,000 we get auras, and they're probably already going to include capes, so they're well beyond where City of Heroes would have started.
Mm-hmm.
If they can get to $2 million and start with a double XP, it starts with a level cap that goes to 40, and the number of launch zones to 20 zones if they can get to 2 million.
Nice.
That would be almost double the size City of Heroes started out with, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My God, I want to play this game. I'm still trying to consider how much I want to donate because the mogul is it's very tempting. The ability to run a skyscraper and live at the penthouse.
I know. If I actually thought I could come up with $500, or even just share it with you guys, we all come up with this amount of money, but that's just out of my price range right now.
I know, it's painful.
If it was split, it actually wouldn't be outside of mine, but...
The question is how to split it and who to put it under.
Yeah, exactly.
4 people is $150, just saying.
I know.
I know. We're all well aware.
I can do math. I play D&D.
Oh God, let's not get into that right now.
You know what? I still can't believe we got so close in our community college to actually getting a D&D class installed for teaching math.
Failed the will throw, eh?
Well, unfortunately, the advisor actually made his will saving throw. We were so close.
Okay. Well, we had one of the projects we've been following almost damn near since its beginning that's ended. Akiba Anime Art Magazine, Volume 00.
Mm-hmm.
It ended on October 13th. It was being done by JH Lab in Tokyo. It's a new art magazine digest book, basically, that's going to include a lot of art and pop culture from the Akihabara area, which is nerd central in Japan.
Yeah, it was just smashing its stretch goals.
Yes, it ended with 1,548 backers. It had an original goal of $4,500. Their level of success is up there with Mighty Number 9 because their end was $74,003.
Wow.
There were so many stretch goals that they just didn't even stop to stare at before they went on to the next one. I think they actually had to add a couple more towards the end, one of which they surpassed. There's not much more you can add to it except success.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I look forward to looking for this at conventions as it comes around. And something Brandon sent to us a while ago is nearly over, the Flame Stower. The ability to charge your mobile gear on the go using the elements of fire and water in this little device. Using the differential between the two, it will create electricity that will be sent to your devices. It has 5 days to go and ends on October 24th. 722 backers, a goal of $15,000. It sets well beyond that at $52,953.
That's a lot of people that want to be able to use their devices.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of happy cell phone addicts around the campfire. So, as you can imagine, you'll go out, spend some time with the family, and play Candy Crush. I'm also watching the draft, not a live project, but the draft on Kickstarter for the Bubblegum Crisis Ultimate Edition Blu-ray set. It hasn't started yet, but apparently the guy in charge of it, Robert J. Woodhead, representing Anamigo, is very close to the final product he wants to submit and see if he can get it started. His last update was just today, actually, to 4.1. We've discussed before my feelings on this. This is just something I'm going to keep a close eye on.
Yeah. If it goes forward, awesome.
Yeah. Let's see, we discussed that one. That one did not happen. Space Bastards. I forgot about this. The comic book of Space Bastards, where an accountant decides to try his hand at postal service work, which is similar to bounty hunting in that you have to go through several people, apparently, to deliver postage in space. He has 5 days to go on this project. It also ends on October 24th. 90 backers, has a goal of $5,000. It's close. It currently sits at $4,137.
Ooh, that is close.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the wire, but as Jesse has said before, these things often get a last-minute burst of funds.
Yep.
So this, I give it 50-50.
Sounds fair.
Yeah. And another one we talked about last week, the perennial Zombies Hate Kung Fu. It's another comic book launch about two guys using some kind of martial art, I guess, to dispatch zombies. It's being done by Ricky Marcel Pitcher of London. He has 21 days to go on it. It ends on November 9th. It has 128 backers, a goal of 5,000 pounds. He currently sits at 3,244 pounds. He's got a pretty good shot at getting this going.
Yeah. Can I just say how interesting is that, okay, last time we were looking at a comic book or graphic novel where this chick is trying to survive in Russia, and the creator, it was from somewhere in the Midwest,
Mm-hmm.
and now we've got a guy in the UK making a zombie story about martial arts, so that would be what, Eastern type. It's like,
You know, all I've learned from looking at these Kickstarters about zombies is apparently areas with a lot of countryside to go through have a lot of time on their hands to think about the undead coming through.
true. I just, I don't know. It just makes me giggle. It would be like, why? I guess it's racist because I'm sitting here going, why isn't a Japanese or somebody Asian writing a story about martial arts? Why is the guy from the Midwest U.S. writing about Russia? This doesn't make sense to me. But honestly, it sounds like they have a good concept. So I suppose I shouldn't be so picky. But it amuses me.
Yeah, I don't have a great answer for you.
Why do all American people have to write about America? That's just boring.
This is true. This is true.
Because we are the world's assholes.
That's so true.
I think that's proven.
No comment.
I found a few new Kickstarters. One of them is for Nelvana of the Northern Lights. It's a graphic novel being put together of reprints of 1941 comic books of the first Canadian superheroine. She was billed as Nelvana, Inuit Goddess of the North. It has never been reprinted, so this would be the first time it's been seen in about 70 years. It's being done by Hope Nicholson of Toronto, Canada. It has 13 days to go and ends on November 1st, 796 backers, a goal of $25,000 Canadian. It currently sits at $40,379.
Wow,
Man, we're done.
Yeah, she's getting to remake this, and she still has another stretch goal of $45,000 of a Nelvana bookmark for all funders. So somebody may actually get something tangible in the mail to go with the book. You know, this isn't one of those things that has a lot of interest, but I got to give kudos to somebody for resurrecting something so long and forgotten.
Yeah, I kind of stopped and said, wait, so we're getting an Alpha Flight book? And I was like, wait, no, that's...
That's just how many Canadian heroes there have been.
Yes.
Besides Terrence and Phillip, anyway.
Oh, God.
And another famous person has a Kickstarter in the works. You guys have heard the name Mark Texeria. He's a pretty famous artist. He's working with Ricardo Sanchez out of San Francisco, and they're doing a new graphic novel called A Hero's Death. The story is about the hero who died 20 years ago, but she wasn't forgotten. It's a story about our collective need for hope, optimism, and heroes. It sounds a bit like a naval stare, staring at your naval type item, but you never know how these things will go. Sometimes it's like The Watchmen, and it really hits well. But there are 19 days to go. It ends on November 7th, 256 backers, a goal of $10,000. They're already at $11,767.
Awesome. I think that's the thing I like the most about Kickstarter. I mean, even if I'm not personally backing the project, I love seeing these things get started.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things out there that would never get the time of day that are getting their chance. We have another comic book Kickstarter called Not a Villain, Book 2. It's apparently the story of a semi-reformed hacker who tries to redeem herself in a post-apocalyptic world she might have created.
I like this one.
I don't know anything about Book 1, but it does make me think about looking it up. It has 22 days to go and ends on November 9th. 108 backers, a goal of $8,000, already sitting at $3,840.
Nice.
So this has an excellent shot of apparently continuing whatever story she's got going on. And another Kickstarter of a comic book, it's called Stray. Kind of like Dog. He actually looks like some kind of... his costume looks like an amalgamation of a bulldog and a couple other things. The storyline here is that a sidekick comes back to solve the murder of his mentor. Will he take over his mentor's mantle or become his own man? It's being done by Vito Del Sante of Woodside, Queens, New York. 20 days to go and ends on November 8th. 119 backers. Already sits at $4,694. It has a goal of just $8,000.
Wow.
There's a whole lot of independent projects that are doing very well these days. And I have no issue with this whatsoever. This is incredible that all these new projects are coming out. It's nice to see that there's new comics coming out that don't have a Superman or Batman symbol on them.
Yeah, or even the X-Men, I mean, honestly, love Marvel, not so crazy about DC, but, people have ideas, and they're getting them out there.
Yeah. Speaking of ideas, this one ends in 66 hours on October 21st. It's called The Super Mario Bros. Z Movie. It's a 30-minute movie, apparently, and it's being done by Trevor Nestor of Simi Valley. The story, as he puts it, is many years ago, Alvin Earthworm started a fan tribute series on YouTube called Super Mario Bros. Z. In an effort to honor and promote our favorite games, this project is a non-profit way of continuing Alvin's legacy and honoring the games by finally finishing the series while giving local artists an opportunity to hone their abilities in the creation of custom music, sprites, drawings, effects, and more. This project will be posted on YouTube and other sites for free viewing. I don't know a lot of the backstory behind it, but obviously it sounds like the original creator is gone and somebody else just really wants to see this project finish on his behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, 66 hours to go. It has 19 backers, a goal of $900, currently sits at $906.
Nice.
So they will get to finish this. It's unbelievable the stuff we're coming across.
Right.
Speaking of which, I think I found a game. It's called Unwritten, Echoes of Twilight. It's being done by Druid Gameworks of O'Fallon, Illinois.
Yes.
It's billed as a single-player, open-world, open-play fantasy RPG where player choices determine the direction, flow, and outcome of the game. Is this a video game? What is this?
It's a video game. It's being made by a bunch of the modders that are responsible for a lot of the famous mods from Skyrim, New Vegas, and other places.
Okay.
So these guys have done some incredible work. Like,
Yeah.
find the list of
Okay.
like Climates of Tamriel, Uniques, Live Another Life, Reclaiming Sancretor are the ones they have listed down here.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I think they need to do some advertising. It
Yeah.
has 9 days to go on October 28th. 585 backers, a goal of $500,000, and currently sitting at $43,701.
This looks amazing to me. It looks like exactly like the kind of game I want to make.
It sounds like a nice game and everything, but they definitely don't have the attention they want for their
Yeah.
project.
Well, maybe we can generate attention.
Do they want that attention? And I found another one that unfortunately seems to have just ended. It's called The Long Dark, a first-person post-disaster survival simulator.
Ooh.
You'll find your way into the Hinterland community, and I'm trying to understand what it is. It looks like it's... Oh, I'm sorry, I found a paragraph here. The Long Dark is a thoughtful exploration-focused survival simulation set in the northern wilderness in the aftermath of a global disaster. Brave the elements and other survivors, hunt for supplies, explore the world, uncover the mystery, answer the question, how far will you go to survive? If you're a fan of atmospheric, exploration-focused games like Fallout 3 or Stalker, you'll love The Long Dark. It ended on October 16th. It has 6,966 backers, a goal of $200,000 Canadian, and this final tally was $256,217 Canadian. They get to make their game.
Awesome.
Wow.
That's
And they've achieved a few stretch goals, so they get the game on PC, Mac, Linux, and Oculus Rift, an exclusive downloadable graphic novel to all tiers, and an extended game soundtrack, double the music.
Sweet.
Nice.
So we have a shot at seeing this. And linking into a news story was somebody brought up on Yahoo about a game called Robot Turtles. The idea is that it teaches programming to 3-year-olds via a board game. And it sounds like an interesting idea, and they mentioned they had a Kickstarter, so I went backwards and found it. It was from September 3rd to September 27th, only 24 days. The game had 13,765 backers.
Wow.
A humble goal of $25,000. However, they raised $631,230.
Oh, damn.
Believe it or not, it seems to be some kind of memory card style game in combination with a board game, and due to the 4 colors of the turtles available to place on the game, this apparently conceptually teaches kids how to program.
That's
Really?
awesome. I've
I
been
may have
waiting
to
for them to come out with something to that effect.
Yeah, I may have to seek out a copy of this. I'm very curious to see what this is about. And listener Brandon sent me in a last-second item here. There's another Kickstarter for a device. It's called Split. They're earbuds for MP3 and phones. The difference is, though, they're completely cordless. They don't even have a cord between each other. They use a burst transmission, and instead of constantly running a wire or some kind of radio signal that, we don't know whether or not will cause long-term damage to our heads, what they do is they send burst transmissions so that each ear individually plays a channel from the same song. And the way you modify it is that you can either lock it by tapping one of these things, or it will actually change volume or tunes conceivably by what they call bite clicks, basically jaw motion measured by an accelerometer.
Interesting.
It's being done by Greenwig Audio out of Miami Beach, Florida. It has 12 days ago and ends on October 31st. It has 405 backers, a goal of $435,000. However, right now they sit at $56,941.
Yeah, that's a tough hole to climb out of, but that's imaginative.
Well, I wonder how much the units are, because, this type of thing, it'd be a hard sell for people who probably already have, 3 sets of earbuds. Does that make any sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. And it kind of makes me wonder what the backer levels. I mean, if the cheapest thing you can even put money in for is a couple $100, I can see why people are kind of going, no, I don't know.
Well, there's only 5 tiers here, and the biggest one is $169. For that, you get a pair of the earphones in one of the planned colors. That's it. And you would have to add $20 if you're shipping outside the U.S. So obviously these things would retail for about $170. You have to wonder, for that amount of money, people may be looking at and going, "I'll just buy Beats Audio."
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, it sounds interesting. I definitely like the cordless idea, but
I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's just one of those things where the amount of money involved may be accidentally strangling your concept.
True.
But it's not my project, so who am I to say?
Yeah, it was a bad pun.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and move into the regular news here. There was a lot that came out of New York Comic Con. One of the big things that was said was during the DC Comics panel, Wally West is finally going to make his return.
Really?
Yeah, the guy who was arguably the most famous Flash before the New 52 and the return of Barry Allen is finally going to return in a series somewhere in DC. I believe I'm not sure, but it may have to do with Earth 2. But unfortunately, they said that Wally would return, but they didn't say where, when, or in what continuity. So I know that's a big deal to a lot of comic book purists out there. Also in DC news, you had to be quick to catch this, because the footage that was shown of Justice League War, their new animated film that's going to show the transition from their animated Flashpoint film into the New 52 continuity. 3 clips of it were shown at New York Comic Con, and all 3 were put on one clip and leaked back on the 14th of the month. And normally this is a case where I say I'll link it for the webmaster, but of course Warner Brothers has been very quick to rip it down. You may still be able to find it out there, but I wouldn't use YouTube. In Marvel news, I almost cried a little, frankly, because last week we talked about how apparently X-23 is joining the all-new X-Men.
Yeah.
There was a mystery cover where she was shown kissing some kind of silhouetted character.
Mm-hmm.
The silhouette has been revealed from New York.
Uh-oh. Who is it?
Cyclops! Young Cyclops! And at first I was thinking that wasn't too bad, but then I started thinking about the fact that young Jean Grey is still out, and then I thought about it a little more. Young Cyclops is kissing a young gender-swapped Wolverine.
I know.
That's going to pick the table.
No!
There are so many syntax errors in my cerebral cortex right now, I can't even list them.
That's...
I would say that someone's probably going to write a Slash fanfic about this, but I know they already have.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know. That just goes in there with the same thing with Wolverine's son just giving him the tongue. Anyway,
if you mention Batman sloppy seconds again, I will find you.
I don't have to. You just did. Thanks.
You asshole.
Time to say that.
Moving on, please. Also on Marvel news, we found out some of the survivors from Avengers Arena. And believe it or not, their situation has not improved. Apparently, as of December or January, well, probably not December, I didn't see them in the solicits, several people from Avengers Arena, including the Anachronism, Deathlocket, Bloodstone, or Kid Bloodstone, I should say, and Hazmat, they didn't just survive. They have gone undercover in the Masters of Evil.
Huh.
Talk about out of the frying pan and into the fire.
Yeah.
Because in the Secret Avengers, it was revealed that the Masters of Evil isn't just a team anymore. There's enough of them that they can call them a society in an underground nation. I forget which one it was called. But basically, the survivors of Avengers Arena, half of them were assumed to be supervillains if they weren't given the proper guidance, so they figure they can go in and find out more information for their adult counterparts. I want to know how this will go, because apparently not only is Baron Zemo one of the heads of the Masters of Evil, but so is Arcade, the guy who's been putting them through their paces in the Avengers Arena.
Wow. That's a nice plot twist.
Yeah, this is going to get dark pretty fast. But I am glad to see Hazmat survive, considering how that series started and it looked like X-23 is about to gut her.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, that answers a couple questions. Let me see, we already mentioned... Well, Dark Horse revealed that they had an entire Whedonverse panel, because not only are they getting Serenity back as a regular series, but the Buffy regular series is continuing as well.
Wow.
And they're also getting a new series to add into that, Angel and Faith.
Angel and Faith, or okay, yes.
Angel and Faith, the two characters, are in a series together.
That'll be interesting.
Man, is there any... You almost have to ask, is there anything Whedon's doing that isn't making money these days? Holy crap, pretty soon he's going to be sitting there like Marlon Brando in The Godfather and bestowing gifts on people, only if they behave. As long as he isn't like stroking Dan Didio as a cat in his lap or something.
He has also mentored a number of people who have gone on to their other things, like Jane Espenson.
You almost wonder if it's some right they have to sign the rights back over. And you can almost hear the ladies screaming. Marvel is starting a new regular series, part of their strange and cryptic teasers. The one called Trust. That was supposed to be a new #1, Loki, Agent of Asgard.
What?
What?
Apparently, the Kid Loki character is going to magically enhance his age to his late teens, early 20s, and he is going to go around as Asgard's secret agent, forwarding Asgard's, forwarding its interests while it's still on Earth. And as it was laid out in the panel, he's going to be a secret agent with some pronounced sexiness and a lot of humor. Basically, all those fangirls that are screaming every time Tom Hiddleston makes an appearance, this is made for them.
That's...
Yep, that's what it sounds like.
So, oh my goodness. There is no escaping it sometimes.
James Bond crosses Loki. That's awesome.
Another thing they announced as the payoff to the Atonement teaser is that the Black Widow is getting her own series again. I want to say this is the third time she's had a series, but this one is... It has a movie-appropriate theme, I guess you could say, because basically she wants to wipe out the red in her ledger.
Aha.
So, is she going to get a movie?
That's a question to ask. I don't know. It's kind of tricky to say, because I know they like her as a sub-character in a lot of other movies.
I don't know how...
You're gonna
I have
Hawkeye's
difficulty...
sidekick in there?
Yeah, I have difficulty picturing her
Solo?
being in a story long enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
feels like she would just go in and fix it and then be done.
That pretty much is her role in the Marvel movies. Help these idiots do what they're trying to do. Also, there was another teaser that was paid off at New York Comic Con. The teaser was Mind Bubble. Captain America is going to encounter a new enemy called Dr. Mind Bubble. Apparently, Captain America was part of the Weapon Plus program, which created characters like Phantom X and Wolverine as a result of their experimentation. Apparently, the U.S. had a counter program they called Weapon Minus, a bunch of creations to destroy those things if they ever went out of control, and Dr. Mind Bubble escaped from his imprisonment. He's a combination of the Super Soldier Serum and LSD.
Trippy.
Apparently a lot of mind powers, and he enjoys a very psychedelic effect. I will link the picture. It's very weird to see, but it looks like he has a meth pipe connected to his head that is just blowing bubbles.
Oh, fun.
Disney is also doing its first tie-in with Marvel Comics. They're producing a new series called Seekers of the Weird. It's designed around what was supposed to be an extension to the Haunted Mansion.
Huh.
It was something that never happened called the Museum of the Weird. They're taking ideas and designs that were going to be involved in the attraction, and they're turning them into a fantasy adventure comic that they call a sort of Harry Potter meets Indiana Jones vein.
I might be
Interesting.
interested.
I'm curious enough to at least flip through it, I admit. And another teaser that paid off for Marvel, the one that was called War. As said in several solicits, Nova is going to join a brand new iteration of the New Warriors. The team is being reformed. The original version came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be what the Young Avengers became. They were supposed to be kind of the Junior League Avengers. But this crew only has two of the original New Warriors joining it. Justice and Speedball.
Wow, they're getting Speedball?
Yep. They have the Kid Nova joining it, so they have 3 names that sound very familiar, but the rest are brand new to the team. They added another Atlantean called the Water Snake, an off-time villain called Sun Girl, a brand new character that's part of the Inhumanities thing going on. The 2 that are probably going to turn the most heads since the series starring the character has ended is the Scarlet Spider and his demigod friend Araceli are going to be on the team. So at least we know when that series ends, it's not going to end with Kane's head on a pike somewhere.
Can always clone him again.
Sorry?
They can always clone him again.
Don't get me started on that bullshit. Another teaser said Overdrive. That one had to do with a brand new Ghost Rider series.
Huh.
This one is a little different because this Ghost Rider doesn't ride motorcycles.
It drives a race car?
It's
A
more than
horse?
that. I don't know about worse. This is something I will have to see before I make a decision. This Ghost Rider has an obsession with muscle cars.
Oh. Yes.
The picture is a metal skull with, it looks like car valves in the forehead, all of which is belching blue flame. It may have something to do with nitro. This character is going to be named Roberto Reyes. I don't know much about it other than he's a mechanic who apparently lives in a bad neighborhood, and he'd get up and go if it wasn't for his little brother Gabriel, who's disabled.
Ooh.
So this one, I'm hoping this Ghost Rider is a new Rogues Gallery, because that's the bad part about new Ghost Riders. They always seem to have the same villains that Johnny Blaze had to deal with. But actually, he is going to get one new villain. Apparently, the fact that he becomes Ghost Rider puts him on the radar of an old Marvel villain called Mr. Hyde.
Wow. That's like Wayback Machine.
Yeah. And Captain Marvel's getting a new number 1. Part of the reason why they're doing all these number 1s is that Marvel is refreshing their Marvel Now initiative. And part of that has to do with Captain Marvel basically getting a power boost and becoming more high profile in the Marvel Universe outside of the Avengers. It's still going to use Kelly Sue DeConnick. And apparently the fans on this are so rabid, they're actually known online as the Carol Corps. You know, what can you say? Marvel arguably has been missing a lot of high-profile heroines, and they at least have one that has a good following behind it.
Yeah. Plus, if they are planning on doing something with the character in a movie sometime soon, it would be wise of them to make her more relevant.
I will not argue that point. And Marvel movie news has gotten weirder already. Remember last week we talked about the possibility of a Black Johnny Storm?
Right.
Yeah.
Someone close to the actor's camp of Michael B. Jordan has said that he apparently is already signed on or is very close to sign on as the Human Torch. As we said last week, personally, I have no issue with this whatsoever, but I can hear what's going to come from it.
Dude, I hear it screaming in my ear right now.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Well, he's been in high demand for a while. He's even been rumored to be on Star Wars Episode 7 for a while. So he is in demand. It's just, I guess it's the cliche question. Is the world ready for a Black Johnny Storm?
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I have no problem with it whatsoever, except for, they better do a convincing job of explaining why, he and his sister share the same last name and supposedly are biologically related, yet one's white and one's black, unless they plan on going, some
Adoption.
different route. But yeah. Again,
Adoption or... Yeah.
We shall see. All I hope is the acting is better than the last 2 films they put out.
Actual acting in that cartoon.
Something better than what Doctor Doom became. Mr. Quit Machine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing that was announced is that the 2 Fantastic Four series currently going on, the Fantastic Four and the Four, the one starring Medusa and the She-Hulk, both of which are ending, and part of Marvel Now's initiative is they're giving the Fantastic Four a new number 1. They're trying to reinsert the Fantastic Four in a place of prominence in the Marvel Universe. It's being done with James Robinson and Leonard Kirk, so I don't know what else to say beyond that. I'm not very familiar with any of it, and I'm not a Fantastic Four reader. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they did notice that they're getting closer to mentioning what in the hell happened to Agent Coulson.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yes. I've been keeping up with that.
I have my theories, but
I know there's so many conceivable theories for comic fans. We can't list them all.
Well, it's something that produces a visible difference when you have X-ray vision.
Yeah. There were several questions that were asked, a lot of the general things you would expect, whether or not we'll see more heroes and villains, and they were cagey about that. One of the interesting questions that was asked was, could we see Fitz and Simmons running around the Marvel Universe? And the Marvel media runner, Jeff Loeb, said that it's in the realm, fell in the realm of print publishing, but it's not impossible if fans yelled loud enough.
that's cool, because honestly, they're still my favorite part of the show. That interaction, I like it.
Get your bullhorns, guys.
Not in my ear. Not in my ear. Let's see. Wow. I wonder what happened there. Quantum and Woody is still going on, and they're getting together with apparently characters I don't know called Priest and Bright. That was announced out of New York Comic Con. That's going to occur in Valiant Comics. I still remember when they were a big deal in the 90s.
I don't even remember them.
They were everywhere when I was shopping. But something that did surprise me was that you remember Chaos Comics back in the day?
Vaguely.
They were the independent publisher that had titles like Purgatory and Lady Death.
Oh, Lady Death, yeah, of course.
Well, Dynamite is getting one of their properties for a crossover. Evil Ernie is coming.
What?
Evil Ernie was a strange little geek that was favored by Lady Death. And when he was about to die, she couldn't take him, so instead she brought him back to life as this undead monster of chaos.
That's...
His sidekick was a smiling button with crossbones behind it that was called Smiley.
I'm seeing a maniacal puppet, or Muppet, I should say.
He was very much a parody just looking at him. But Smiley, when he was around back in the 90s, I saw the buttons and that face looking at me everywhere. I'll see if I can add a picture to that one for the webmaster to add of Evil Ernie. Also at New York Comic Con, this is not something I ever expected to hear or say out loud, but Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, has called out CM Punk.
What? Really?
I don't think it was a serious thing, but he mentioned that he could take CM Punk in a fight. They're both Chicago natives, which I'm sure has something to do with it.
Yeah.
But Frank apparently challenged this WWE superstar, the current wrestler, and he says, let's get that going. I love CM Punk. He's a really nice guy, but he did say in his panel that he would fight me, and you can't say that in the fighting world if you don't mean that you fight me. Let's get a contract going. I also want to spar Anderson Silva for a fundraiser, but I don't hear back from anybody.
Let's
slow down for just a minute.
I would love to see that.
Would you love to see the two of them fight, or would he have to come in with that green helmet on?
I don't even care. I would just like to see the two of them fight. That would just be amusing. Entertaining. I think that's the better word. Probably get
insulted for 5 minutes before CM Punk ever hit the ring. And we had some bad news out of New York Comic Con. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
A cosplayer was harassed while there.
Uh-huh.
They weren't identified at first because they apparently went through great pains to cover up their marker, but they're a YouTube show called Man Banter. a show that apparently does not apologize for how unabashedly misogynistic it is.
Oh, joy.
Yeah. And what they did was they approached a cosplayer for an interview. And apparently it's very regular for people to get interviewed, and I saw several go down to San Diego, so why wouldn't it happen in New York? There were 5 men all dressed in T-shirts, and this was from the Facebook of Bethany Maddock, by the way. And she said before the interviewer even uttered a question, there was an immediate problem. He locked eyes with my chest. I noticed, covered myself up with my arms, pointed at my face Power Girl style, and said, "Hey, eyes up here, buddy." He proceeded to tell me how he was just looking at the costume, in which I proceeded to tell him he could continue to look at it as is, as I covered up my chest. Off to an already embarrassed and perfectly douchey start. Then the very first question that pops out of his mouth was, "So does your costume help you get laid?"
Wow.
To make a long story short, she told him to go fuck himself, and she stormed off. She snapped a picture of him, and she couldn't identify him. She went to New York Comic Con security, who blew her off.
Ooh.
They
That's
did nothing, and there was a report that came.
Mistake.
Well, there was a report that came out later that this show did the exact same thing to at least one other woman at New York Comic Con. Since then, the Comic Con has been very apologetic, and they looked into it. I don't know what the eventual outcome of it was, but after a little bit of identification, obviously I managed to figure out who it was. Here's the thing, though: the reason why they were so easy to identify is that the host of the show, Mike Babchick, he left his card with one of them.
That's smart.
Oh no, it gets better. Not only does he do this YouTube show, his card says he's an associate producer on Sirius NFL Channel 124. He works for Sirius Radio. It has a symbol and everything, and I did some digging myself via the internet. It's the same guy.
Yep, not anymore.
You believe you're going to ask questions that stupid and actually leave a card? Let alone a card that doesn't even have the Man Bender show on it. It gives his job.
Hey, there's some free publicity for you.
Yeah, I hope to see him on the Darwin Award sometime soon.
I don't know, but I find it very disappointing that security did not act on that.
That's the part that really pisses me off, is that there's so much discussion right now about the whole cosplay consent debate, and it played out right there in New York Comic Con. The same company that runs San Diego Comic Con, maybe not the same security, maybe they were just convention staff and everything, but still, they did dick.
Yeah.
And the problem kept happening.
Yeah.
I can understand from a certain perspective, because if they just said something, they would be like, well, we can't really... It's your word against his or whatever.
Right, I get that and everything, but I mean, she had a picture, she had a complaint, and like I said, the cosplay consent debate has been so hot lately, I would think that people would take this extremely seriously. They didn't.
You can't hear, but I'm shaking my head.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate thing that unfortunately, Comic-Con has to battle back from.
Yeah.
Switching to happier news that is Comic-Con related, the San Diego Convention Center, the Coastal Commission unanimously approved the $520 million project to put basically a new wing on the convention center. They are adding 740,000 square feet of convention space.
Wow.
Which, if memory serves, is more than the LA Convention Center has in total convention space.
Whoa!
It also adds a 5-acre rooftop park and a waterfront promenade with retail shops and restaurants, a second 500-room tower to the adjacent San Diego Hilton Bayfront Hotel.
Damn.
Wow, they're just thinking
That's
all in one nice little
ambitious
package.
in the extreme. That's wow.
Well, they expect to break ground next year and be completed in 2018, but they can't start construction because there's a few lawsuits against the project that they want to settle first. One of them is even by the San Diego Chargers, who thought that doing this project would take away from them trying to get a new stadium, basically. The argument that the convention center put up was that there's room for everybody. After wandering around down there this year for Comic-Con, I didn't see a lot of room, but that isn't to say that they may not be able to find a place to put it. I imagine that means that San Diego wanted, or at least the Chargers, I should say, wanted to probably renovate Petco Park and turn that into a place for them to play as well as the Padres. But with this project, I mean, I don't know what else you can say except making something this large wouldn't just keep Comic-Con in the area. It could add a whole bunch of new revenue with larger and larger shows coming through.
Yep.
I mean, E3 may want to consider moving from LA to here, not just because of the venue, but because of how much the city gets in behind its bigger shows. So we can only see, but they are expecting this to bring in 3,000 new construction jobs, $700 million a year to the economy, and $13.5 million in additional tax revenue from new conventions. You know, like I said, I wandered around there this year. I can't say that those are unrealistic numbers considering what I saw.
Yeah.
Get the wheels rolling.
Well, this is also important because Comic-Con's lease with the city only runs through 2015.
Yeah, that's a hell of an incentive to get them to re-sign.
Yeah, not just re-sign, but I mean not just a 3-year extension too. They could probably extend them to 2020 considering when this finishes, and they could add a whole lot of new bodies. Their cap may go up from 120,000 with this much new space being added. But the agreement with Comic-Con was extended to 2016 just last year. Without the extension, though, they don't believe Comic-Con would stay, so I'm sure that the city thinks this is very important. Wow, we spent a little while on that. Something Brandon sent to me was that in Japan, they recently listed One Piece anime Blu-rays.
Huh?
Blu-rays for One Piece are apparently being produced.
Huh.
That doesn't surprise me. It's super popular.
Yeah, it doesn't say where the listings were, but apparently they're being put up for about $58 US. That doesn't stop the DVD releases, though. Season 5 Part 3 box set will ship on October 15th. And in sad news, a major voice actor passed away this week. Actually, last week. On Thursday, October 10th, due to aortic dissection, voice actor Tomoyuki Dan passed away. The guy's filmography is rather impressive. He was in Mobile Suit Victory Gundam. He dubbed Christian Bale's voice in the Batman trilogy that came out in recent movies. He did Orihara Sensei in Air Gear. But unfortunately, his death is going to impact some current projects because his most famous role, arguably, is that he played Kisame in Naruto.
Wow.
For those who don't know, Kisame was the giant shark-skinned man with the scaled sword.
Oh.
Well,
That's
he does
him,
kind of.
or that was him.
Yeah, he does kind of bow out after a while.
Still, though, if that character still exists, you know, there's going to be a bit of a hiccup.
Yeah.
So we are sorry to see him go. Also in anime news, remember last week, or actually 2 weeks ago, we discussed how Ori Nomoto is being cross-promoted with the Japanese baseball team?
Right.
Shit just got deeper. K-On! Has been cross-promoted with a fashion line.
Okay.
They're being listed as official models for a new collaboration and fashion brand Earth Music and Ecology. They're actually producing lines of fashion based on the characters, and not only that, some of the ads show the characters wearing the outfits.
Wow.
If it was circa 2003, I would fully expect to find this on some stupid banner in Topanga Plaza. But still, even for Japan, that's a hell of a step for an anime character, to get this kind of promotion, especially since the fans out there, the literal word for otaku is freak. They are not looked upon very well.
No, yeah.
So this is a big step, and I don't know if it's a step forward or backwards.
I don't know. Any kind of change it's so tempting to label it progress. Too soon to tell.
I know. And in further anime news, the new Sailor Moon anime that's being produced, the remake, it's going to be subtitled in 10 fucking languages.
Nice. Not that I'm a real huge fan of the show, but still, that...
Neither am I, but I mean, that's a statement in itself when you have 10 different countries or 10 different regions that want to watch it.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable to a degree I can't can't even discuss. And we have we've discussed a couple times about, or at least I posted on the Facebook about Fighting Climax, Dengeki Online's game that's going to have several anime stars in it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the only ones. Namco is coming out with J-Star's Victory Versus. It's a team battle action game. Some of the characters in it are One Piece's Boa Hancock, Bleach's Rukia Kikuchi, Nisekoi's Chitoge Kirasaki, and To Love Ru's Lala's Satalin Devluk.
Okay.
They're only some of the characters, though, because there's also there are support characters for the most part. Already in the game are characters like Toriko from Toriko, Luffy from One Piece, Goku from Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Rurouni Kenshin's Kenshin Himura, and Gintama's Gintoki Sakata. Basically, it's a bunch of anime icons punching the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
It's got to be fun for.
Well, it's supposed to be. It will be, I'm sure. It's supposed to be a 3D fighter, which will allow players to use Naruto's Shadow Clone technique, Luffy's Gum Gum Stamp ability, Toriko's Nail Punch, Goku's Kamehameha, Yusuke's Spirit Gun, Gon's Jankengu, and other famous moves.
So, yeah. A lot going on.
It's going to be an explosion of noise.
It's Smash Bros. With anime characters.
In a way, but 3D fighter kind of... Yeah. A 3D Smash Brothers with anime characters.
Yeah. In video game news, remember how we keep coming up with Japanese gaming industry people that seem to occasionally put their foot in their mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Found another one.
Oh, joy.
The creator behind both Kirby and the upcoming Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS. His name is Masahiro Sakurai.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a big fan of remakes.
Here's the quote.
Here's the quote. Is there any industry that relies so much on reusing their old titles as much as video games? Compared to other medias like movies, dramas, animation, novels, and comics, the glut of franchises and remakes is at an unnatural level. That's why you have a generally unified approach to control methods between titles, and you can usually play one by taking what you already know and adding a feature or two to it. X means jump, square means attack, and so on. That's where the quote ends. I want to ask, is it really the kind of statement you want from some guy who's working on the latest Kirby and Super Smash Brothers games?
It confuses me a little bit. Not to mention, video games are built on that muscle memory. I mean, if you had to completely relearn controls every time you picked up a new game, I would be frustrated.
I would imagine most people would, but apparently that's not good enough for some people, and he makes these things for some reason.
Yeah. Again, I mean, I assume that could be taken out of context, and maybe he had a deeper point to be, made. But yeah, that doesn't paint him in a rosy light.
No. We'll go ahead and step on from there. GTA 5, Grand Theft Auto, is already in legal action.
Yay.
A former member of the Dog Pound, Daz Dillinger, he's asked Rockstar to recall all copies of the game after tracks of his music Seawalk and Nothing But the Cavi Hit were included in the game. Apparently his problem was that they gave him an embarrassingly low offer. According to Dillinger, he refused their offer of $4,271 for both songs. He didn't think it was representative of what his work was worth.
It seems like a lot to me.
You would think so. I mean, that's over $2,000 per song. And I'm sure there's a lot of other music in there.
But they went ahead and put it in even though he refused, or I
don't know if this means somebody accepted it on his behalf and sold the rights for him or what, but he is suing Rockstar Games for the rights to the music.
I think they can take care of it.
I'm sure Rockstar, by now, with the $1 billion they've made off the game, is more than ready for a lawsuit. And in movie news, this is one of those things that keeps spinning around. Charlie Hunnam has pulled out of the 50 Shades of Grey film. I really need to rephrase that. Wow, okay, it's already out there. He has cited his busy television work as a reason why he's pulled out. I gotta stop doing that. There are several people who say that's a lie. They're indicating that he he stopped doing the 50 Shades of Grey film for a different reason. But I don't know, because Hunnam is more in demand lately. Obviously, he was in Pacific Rim. There's word that they may be writing Pacific Rim 2, which I'm sure would include him. And he's definitely the most recognizable actor out of the Sons of Anarchy TV show.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be that the filming schedule they laid out could have sat right on top of Sons of Anarchy, and he cannot stop doing that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just one of those things where the rumors, I'm sure, are going to build.
Yeah. And I'm sure people are going to be disappointed, but
Yeah.
that's just going to bring back, all those people that were,
Looking for
Like-
another actor.
yeah, well, there were so many people that were upset with his casting and and so forth. Anyway, now they're just going to be, demanding their favorite again.
Yeah. Well, we had another death to talk about. This one is a U.S. personality. Are you guys familiar with the name Ed Lauter?
Nope.
No.
No.
You're going to dig through your memories. You will be a little sad. Ed Lauter was an actor in Hollywood who I don't think he ever had a starring role necessarily, but he was in a lot of films, including both versions of The Longest Yard. He was in The Artist. He was in Trouble with the Curve from 2012. He was in Death Wish 3 in 85 with Charles Bronson. He played Sarah Jessica Parker's father in Girls Just Want to Have Fun from 1985. He was also recently on Shameless. He passed away at 75 just yesterday. Or, I'm sorry, 74. Believe it or not, he died of mesothelioma, cancer caused by asbestos exposure.
Ooh.
So it's one of those faces that as soon as you see a picture, I'm sure you'll recognize him.
Yeah, it's not familiar with any of his work.
Wow.
I'm not familiar with anything you've listed, but
I've watched at least half of it.
Wait, he's on Psych?
He
okay,
was.
now I might recognize that.
He was for a little bit, yeah. Well, Disney released a first look at its Avatar theme park. This was announced at one of their D23 expos. They're doing a new theme park based on the movie. They're calling it Pandora. It's slated to open in Orlando, Florida at the Animal Kingdom Park they already own at Walt Disney World in early 2017. They are working with director James Cameron and Lightstorm Entertainment to bring this thing to life. They first talked about the D23 in Japan back on Friday, October 12th. I'd be curious to see if they could pull that off, and frankly, considering the way the movie worked out, I would only want to go there at night, because I'm sure that place would be lit up like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Lovely.
Just build one in California, a-holes. Or
Yeah.
fly me out there. I don't care which one. But do something a little simpler for me, please.
I've kind of always wanted to see Disney World, and yeah, Florida, completely opposite side of the country for me. So thanks.
I've never been to a theme park that wasn't inside of a mall.
That's an experience.
I'm talking about the Mall of America, but
I'm sure. Well, it seems like every week we have different what the fuck stories, basically. Unfortunately, I have 4 of them this week.
Oh,
The
lay 'em
first
out.
one... Well, the first one is about a mom who apparently does exercise. She has 3 kids, and she has practically a washboard stomach.
Uh-huh.
This is a little bit unusual because she has to defend herself against Facebook haters. I mean, her idea, apparently, when she made the picture, was to motivate people into doing something and getting themselves in shapes, which I don't think of as a bad thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But, of course, a lot of people came back, and they accuse her of being an attention whore.
okay.
Well, she kind of put herself out there for that one, but
She did put herself out there, but at the same time, when she's sitting there with 3 kids, the picture is pretty simple. It's her with her 3 kids of 2 years, 8 months, and 3 years, and she's in pretty good shape. And it says, "What's your excuse?" And that's a literal statement that I can actually get behind, because there's a lot of people out there who say when they have kids that they don't have time for anything. She's created it, obviously.
Take the kids with you.
So it is one of those cases where no, I don't think anybody should hurl insults at her because she bothered to retain shape or get it back. If you don't like it, fine, but you don't have to level insult at somebody who made time to better herself.
True.
They're just demeaning her so they'll feel better.
I do, however, think what's your excuse is a confrontational statement, and I could see how some people would
Take it the wrong way.
exactly.
But they should, sure, but that doesn't
But again,
invalidate this statement.
Well, so many people are so in love with their okay.
Their
Anyway,
ego.
well, no, just the fact that they're anonymous on the internet, so they can say whatever the hell they want, and so anything that strikes them as the slightest bit, confrontational or something that they just want to take umbrage with,
They're going to lash out.
because they can, and they have access, to a keyboard and not too many brain cells.
Yeah, it falls in the same vein to me as the people who complained over the lady from 2 weeks ago who put out a YouTube video of herself working out at 8 or 9 months pregnant, and all they did was scream about how dare you, stop it, you're going to damage the baby. The frick ever, man. I'm sure she sees an obstetrician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to actually respect that there's so many different ways to go about it that any single way is not necessarily the only way.
Yep.
And also in What the Fuck News, there was a guy who police was sent to his house because there was a body at his garage that was missing its head.
Okay.
Leading up to Halloween, what?
Unfortunately, people didn't actually get close to the body to take a look to see it was a mannequin. He did, from a distance it's very good because it's posed awkwardly, it is missing its head, there's a blood splatter, it looks like handprints on the garage door. And police came out, and the person in the house did have to explain that it is just Halloween decorations. Police and firefighters did respond, but he wasn't breaking any laws, and they left. And in response, the Oklahoma person put another body out underneath the wheel of his truck.
Awesome.
So that is the most polite fuck you I've ever heard.
How about another one, guys?
Yeah. Well, we have one, unfortunately, that's at the other end of the spectrum. A young woman was raped in a Missouri town. Her name is Melinda Coleman. She was allegedly underage, and a 15-year-old football star and his friend, both 15, were alleged of sexual assault to the girl who was 14 at the time. The 15-year-old Matthew Barnett was never brought up on charges. He was arrested but not brought up on charges because, as it turns out, he is related to a politician.
Oh, that's bullshit.
There's a lot of supposition that perhaps political pressure was brought to bear. Let me see. The grandfather of the teen, is a Missouri former State House Republican representative.
Yay. Big fucking deal.
Yeah. So charges were never brought. And what happened to this girl? She had been verbally harassed at school.
Of course.
Verbally harassed on the phone. And her house was burned down.
Jesus.
Wow.
They have since moved out of town. This is Missouri, one of 5 states. As somebody put up a billboard recently asking why 5 states didn't succeed and form their own union. You know what? Fuck you and leave. Missouri just made my list of places I will never go.
Yeah.
You know what? No, don't leave yet, because first let Los Angeles take the Rams back from you. Then you can go. And my last what the fuck news story of the 4. A cop in Japan, of Hyogo Province, Japan, was busted for blackmailing a woman he pulled over. He questioned her for suspicious behavior. And then instead of writing her up, he demanded money from her so he could pay off his Bahamut debt.
What debt?
The police officer had gotten in over his head on social games, cell phone games.
Uh-huh.
You know how a lot of those involve microtransactions?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He was in I believe, 500,000 yen in debt to these games, and he didn't want his wife to find out, so he started blackmailing the woman. However, he apparently did not have the complete gumption. Several times he left his house to try to go over to the person he was going to extort to get money from them. And the first time he actually worked up the gumption to get to her house, he left a note on her windshield.
Oh, God.
Awesome.
This guy's smart.
Darwin Awards, here we come.
So the lady took the note to police, and they arrested the officer for attempted extortion and found 2 more demands he was preparing to give to her. Now, the police in Japan, when they're caught on certain things, are rarely ever arrested. However, he actually was, and he lost his job. He's a 44-year-old. A police sergeant, no less. There's nothing funny I can say to this because this is already beyond pathetic.
Yeah.
I have no words.
Well, bouncing back into Marvel news, especially movie news, there's actually a frontrunner for the role of Janet Van Dyne, apparently in the Ant-Man film.
Really, who?
Janet Van Dyne is the name of the Wasp.
Right.
They are apparently looking at Rashida Jones.
Rashida Jones, I know that name.
She's had chemistry with a lot of actors. She's been opposite Paul Rudd on Parks and Recreation. She's also had roles in I Love You Man and Our Idiot Brother. Pretty lady.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't watched any of those myself, but her face does look relatively familiar. She may have done some other things I'm not aware of.
Oh, she was in the Muppets, the Lay's version
The
of it.
Office.
I haven't sat down to watch either of those.
Well, that doesn't help.
Oh, she was in This Is 40.
Boston Public.
Now that I've watched. That I've watched. But
SNL.
Yeah. Well, the director of the movie is Edgar Wright, who did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So this ought to be fun. And X-Men Days of Futures Past, it's no secret that Quicksilver has been in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I don't remember who was playing it in this one. But do you remember that Bryan Singer? He tweeted a picture of some kind of insanely bright area where they were filming all the super speed scenes that requires the actor in it. Let me see. Peters. Oh, Evan Peters is going to be Quicksilver in Days of Futures Past. He said, he talked about the difficulty of filming these scenes. His quote was, "It was incredibly bright. A lot of the crew, Brian himself, got to wear sunglasses, and the actors had to keep their eyes open for a long, long time with that bright light just blaring at you. It's like the sun. It's brighter than the sun. It's right there in your eyes, but the end result is so worth it. You just power through it. It does kind of hurt. I don't know how safe that is. Keeping your eyes open for more than 20 seconds in that light, but yeah, does it hurt. It's really difficult to keep your eyes open. It's super, 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 super slow-mo. You can see raindrops frozen in the air. Stuff like that. It's amazing how that camera works," unquote. Just listening to him say that, I want to see this movie more than ever. Super speed is one of those things that comes across as so just bland in a lot of films and animated features. I'm looking forward to this. And Marvel apparently is developing 4 new TV shows and a miniseries. They haven't said what it is, but at least one of them is a series that's going to be based around Agent Carter from the Captain America film.
Yep. Looks fun. Sounds fun.
And other than that, it appears that Disney is giving them a lot of money to develop their properties. Some of the rumors are that Blade and the Punisher may get TV series. Blade I could see. I know there was a failed one that was on USA not too long ago, but they based that on the old movies that were done by, I believe, Lionsgate.
With Wesley Snipes?
No. Well, it was based on the character he created, but it was acted by Stucky Jones, who was a former football player.
Oh.
The Punisher, though, I wouldn't give him a TV series. Not unless you're putting it on Showtime or HBO or something.
Maybe they are.
You know, that would involve a lot of people being stitched from neck to nuts with automatic gunfire. Viral marketing for Amazing Spider-Man 3 is teasing more villains. There's a new article on a faux website that they put up of the Daily Bugle. It's talking about the stock performance of Oscorp and a few other things. Apparently, sharp-eyed people found something in the article, and this is a snippet. Quote, despite the assault on Oscorp Tower 2 weeks ago and the revelation that disgruntled Oscorp employee Dr. Kurt Connors was responsible for the attack, Oscorp stock has climbed 4 points. Oscorp spokesman Douglas Mencken provided some details from the meeting, including that the construction on the prototype alternative energy power plant, complete with hydroelectric tower, is on schedule for completion within the next year. Other highlights included a preview of a flight harness for the military and significant advancements in robotics by the head of the engineering division, Spencer Smythe, unquote. Now,
Yeah.
actually, there's 3 references in there to
Yeah.
Sinister
Yeah.
Six villains.
Yep.
Obviously, Spencer Smythe, the guy who created the Spider Slayer robots. That's
Jetpack was Vulture.
Yes, the flight pack, the anti-gravity pack is a favor of the Vulture. The other one that's a little harder to pull out would be the hydroelectric tower,
plant.
the alternative energy power source. That's actually a spin of the origins of Hydro Man, the water controller from Spider-Man comics. It's very curious. I don't know if this means they'll show up in this movie or if they're seeding Spider-Man 3, which I believe was a package deal for 2. But it's going to keep people on the edge of their seats for a little while as they try and find more.
Yeah.
Although Marvel movie news that was not surprising, Vin Diesel has confirmed he has 1 line of dialogue.
I think I know what it is.
Don't spoil it.
I won't.
But apparently, I don't believe that means he's going to say it one time. I'm sure that means he's going to repeat the same line in several different inflections.
Of course.
But as the actor himself put it, quote, my father taught me there are no small roles, only small actors. I only have 1 line in the movie, but that doesn't mean anything. I'm still going to make it the best possible thing I can, unquote. Yeah, you go do that.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I imagine it's probably got to be a little bit difficult to sit there and say that one sentence with all those different intonations and not laugh at yourself.
I think you have to, otherwise you just start crying.
Yeah, so, you know, he's not my definition of the greatest actor in the world, but as long as it makes a good movie, I'm down with it.
Yeah. Well, Marvel has stopped something from coming out. There was a fan film somebody was trying to put together on the Punisher, and they released an executive teaser, or exclusive teaser, I should say, to their movie that was called The Dead Can't Be Distracted. I watched a teaser, there wasn't much to it, but apparently Marvel gave them a cease and desist. Which is kind of curious considering there's already other fan films out there on different properties. Why wouldn't they allow something as simple as The Punisher? My only guess would be because they're working on it. They got the rights back from Sony, and I'm sure they would like to give that a spin that didn't end in the Warzone. You know, that god-awful Punisher Warzone film. So, it's weird, but I have a feeling there's more context here we're not getting. And there was a new clip that was released from Thor: The Dark World showing the primary villain, Malekith, waking up. I'm sure I'll link that to the webmaster so everybody can see that. Unfortunately, it has no Chris Hemsworth in it, so V's underwear gets to stay dry.
Sadness.
DC movie news. Guillermo del Toro, the famous director of several monster-themed movies and Pacific Rim, he is the one working on Justice League Dark, apparently.
Huh.
Interesting.
He's the one that's working on the Justice League Dark film, and some people asked him about the Constantine TV series that's being started, and whether or not there would be any crossover or conflict. His quote was, "We talked about it with DC and Warner's, and I feel confident that the 2 properties can exist at the same time. I think that DC is trying to create a great universe of characters and expand it and make it clear to the audience that it's a landscape of characters, not just one that's dependent on 1 or 2 characters." Unquote.
They can try.
That makes a lot of sense, but unfortunately the way that DC and Warner Brothers runs their characters outside of comic books, I don't have great hopes.
Yeah, hopefully calmer heads will prevail.
Yeah, Yeah, but they had so many Justice League series because they just couldn't come to grips with Warner Brothers about the rights to the characters. I don't know. In general science news, Toyota is working on an alternative fuel car.
What kind of fuel?
Fueled off of what?
Hydrogen fuel cells. They've already changed the format in these things. Apparently, a lot of the problems with hydrogen fuel cars is that the cells are separated by platinum plates, which obviously is very
expensive. A little expensive.
They used to be... basically, for this one, those platinum plates have been reduced from 100 grams to about 30 grams. And they want to bring that down to around 20 grams. So that would explain a lot as to why it's been so expensive to produce these things if you need frickin' platinum in the fuel cells.
Yeah.
They're hoping to bring the cost down to about $50,000 and have it ready for release by 2015.
Nice.
I cannot mention how much I think we need these.
Oh, yes.
Because, GM is trying to launch a dual-fuel car, which will run on both gasoline and natural gas. Natural gas I don't have a problem with as a fuel source. It's much cleaner than, refined gasoline. But at the same time, natural gas is still a product that can run out.
Yeah.
Hydrogen would be much easier to create and cause much less fluorocarbons in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're both trying to come out with these alternative energy cars soon. Both in 2015, but I would really hope that Toyota gets theirs right. Also in general nerd news, a giant radio telescope captured black hole indigestion. They found an ancient black hole from a radio telescope in Chile, and it caught this black hole that's identified as PKS 1830-211 eating huge amounts of matter, boosting its super energetic jets of material to extremely high levels. Apparently, light coming from the object was actually emitted when the universe was 20% as old as it is now. So, obviously the light is taking a hell of a long time to travel to where this thing can see it. Still, this is just one of those weird, rare things that occurs.
Yeah, I read about that, I think, when it came out. It was intriguing, but not very many details.
The concepts of black holes still scare me, but I still wonder, since we found out that black holes don't just chew up matter, they also expel matter, if some of these can be resultant in nebulas and how stars begin.
Yeah. Well, there's a theory, I believe I've mentioned, that black holes open up in the other side in another Big Bang.
That's possible. It could also explain universal expansion. I'm not an astrophysicist, so you can take that with whatever you want, but I'll throw that out there. And the biggest star ever found is ripping itself apart. The largest star that scientists have ever discovered, identified as W26, it's 1,500 times wider than the Sun, and they're observing it. Apparently, it's close to supernova.
Nice. So we'll get to see one.
If they point another powerful telescope at it, yeah, maybe we can actually get our first view of one that wasn't in an episode of Star Trek.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be a once in a century event, I would imagine. And another piece of general science news. Have you guys heard of the Lucy light?
No.
No.
I kind of want these. $15 is all it costs to get one. They can be either inflatable or hard plastic. They're solar lamps. This was developed by a company called M-Power D by Jacques-Philippe Piverger, I believe it's pronounced, Piverger. He developed it to help change the world. He developed this low-cost, solar-powered lamp so that people in developing countries that don't have regular power grids can read and write at night.
Well, that kind of reminds me of the kinetic generator that they gave the thermal carriage, where these attach it to a soccer ball and kids just kick it around and generates enough power to light a lamp.
Yeah, but he's even developed this inflatable version, and it does, according to some of the pictures, produce this nice diffused light. There's a picture of a Sudanese girl that's actually studying by one of these things. I love it when people develop products that can actually help at a cost that everybody can at least have a shot at.
Yeah,
I looked these things up on websites after I saw it, and believe it or not, some websites are trying to sell these lights for frickin' $60 to $90. But if you go to the website actually producing them, if you're willing to wait 3 weeks, you can still get them for the $15 suggested retail.
Middlemen. That's where all the money's going.
Oh, fucking assholes.
Yeah.
In entertainment news, Breaking Bad ended 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The creator wants Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul to reprise their roles in the prequel he's working based around the character of the attorney, Saul Goodman. The working title of the spinoff is Better Call Saul. It is supposed to go down before Breaking Bad, but he wants both actors to appear as their characters in cameos.
Huh.
You know, I'm of mixed minds about that because it's a prequel, and there's part of me that says it would be better as standalone, but I gotta admit, I would be curious to know where Cranston and Paul would show up in the show. And in further Breaking Bad news, sometimes things go a little too far. On YouTube tomorrow, on October 19th, which unfortunately will probably be after the time this goes up, they are going to live simulcast Walter White's funeral. The fictional character at the head of Breaking Bad, the one Bryan Cranston played, is going to get a memorial on YouTube. They're also going to mention other characters who died throughout the series, like his brother-in-law, Hank Schrader, his brother's partner, Steve Gomez, and Jane Margolis. Also at the funeral will be a replica of the RV they first cooked meth in. Can I ask, the fuck?
Yeah, my thoughts.
You know, I love the show. It was a great show. Do we really need a memorial?
Yeah.
Good answer.
I sigh.
Oh, my goodness. And, remember at the beginning of all this news, I mentioned at New York they paid off a lot of those teasers that they were giving for the new Marvel Now initiative?
Mm-hmm.
They're throwing out more. They released another teaser with another faded number 1 behind it, but this one's a little more cryptic because in green letters all it says is Miss.
Miss?
Yeah, MS period. Miss. I have no idea what that means. Some people said it might be Miss Marvel, but of course she's Captain Marvel. I don't know what this means. All I can ask is, just please stop. Just give us the news. Please stop. My God, I'm a Marvelite and you're killing me. And further comic book news, Dynamite is coming out with a crossover I never thought of. But now that I've seen the cover, I don't know why it hasn't happened before.
What?
A famous super robot created by Five Lions is going to meet more famous super robots that look like tomcats that transform into robots.
Wow.
Voltron and Robotech are going to cross over in a new number 1, in a new first issue coming out in a few months. Even weirder is that the pilots of the Lion Team, they are going to cross over with Roy Fokker and the Skull Squadron.
Okay. This whole thing is just like, wow.
I know, it's bent my brain to the left. I have no idea what the conceivable story could be. I'm not sure what the villains will be. But I'm very curious.
Form
Yes,
blazing
you do.
sword and stick it through Dolza. I don't know. What the hell?
I don't know if a Veritech yells form blaming sword. I think he'll run the whole thing through a shredder.
Did they do a dataless strike on
I don't know, could
the
you...
Voltron or something? I
A whole
don't
horde
know.
of Robies jumping the SDF-1? I don't fucking know.
That's just... okay.
Ah. Believe it or not, that is all the news I have, so we'll go ahead and move into the interview we have.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not sit here counting zeros in a cubicle downtown. I wanna look.
By now you've heard music and you're curious what the frick this is about? We reached out to the project of City of Titans, the spiritual successor to another MMO that closed a few years ago, and we have their project lead on us. No, not on us. That would be uncomfortable. We have him with us. His name is Chris Hare, but he also goes by War Cabot. Say hello, please.
Hello, please.
I can see how this is going to go.
Yep. I'm liking it already.
Yes, he's working on the new City of Titans MMO that's due to, it's currently scheduled to open in mid-2015. They have a Kickstarter currently up there, well beyond their initial goal at least, but they've recently added a whole lot of stretch goals.
And let me just tell you, actually, we obviously had them all planned out, but let me just tell you the exciting news, if you haven't checked.
What?
We just passed our MAC goal. And actually, I want to take 30 seconds to talk about that real quick.
Sure.
Awesome.
Okay. We are building our MMO based on the Unreal Development Kit, which means that we have an engine.
Okay.
That engine is already essentially configured for a number of operating systems. Macintosh was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why the stretch goal for Mac on top of everything else was so low, relatively speaking, is because most of what we'll need for it is to pick up a couple of Macs for testing on.
Okay.
Makes sense.
The other thing is though, and this is the partner to that statement, which always comes up as soon as I say Mac, is why not Linux? And I'm going to tell you right now, UDK, Unreal Development Kit, does have a Linux version, but it's not as well supported as the others. We are hoping that Steambox prompts Unreal to kind of improve things a little bit. And once that happens, we're really looking forward to releasing a Linux version. It's purely a matter of time and testing, and once Unreal does that. If they don't do that, it's still possible. We just have to put more effort in. And our project lead is a long time. Our tech lead is a long-time Linux developer. He was one of the first people to work on Gen 2 and about 9 other projects.
Wow.
So it's pretty sure going to happen. We just don't know when.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I'm just those two always go together.
All right, well, firing off with details we didn't expect already. This is great. You have obviously been in all kinds of sci-fi nerdy hobbies for a while. Which one was your first?
That's a really good question. I can't say whether it was Legion of Superheroes fandom or role-playing games. Actually, I can tell you. My first fandom would be I'm now going to reveal my age because I saw Star Wars when it first came out.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's okay. I was born in that year.
Actually, here's the fun part. There is a fun part to going to see Star Wars. Yes.
Okay.
The fun part was I was less than knee high. I still remember it. But here's the fun part. I got in trouble when we went to see it because I kept turning around to look at the projectors behind me to figure out why the lights kept changing and how it worked. We like to think that was kind of a foreshadowing of me being not only a sci-fi fan but into technology.
That's a
foreshadowing.
I don't know too. I was trying to figure out how this stuff was put together.
Well, you're in good company, because some of the earliest memories I have are being 3 and running up and down the aisles during Empire Strikes Back.
I remember screaming and running out of the theater watching E.T.
Not what I expected. But you said Legion of Superheroes as well?
Long live the Legion. I was on Legion Mush. I am a huge and long-time Legion fan. Somewhere around I have Starboy's first intro.
Whoa.
And I gotta tell you, Little Jimmy Shooter is one of my idols.
All right. Were you disappointed in what DC did with him lately?
You know.
Yeah, he doesn't pull punches.
I'm only...
what I was saddened by was the return to the 1970s. It was nice to see. Even if it was, I'm just saying, it was nice to see the return of the old Cockrum Legion. Mm-hmm. I guess they've done more stuff since then, but going from I'm not going to say cutting edge, but at least interesting and different Wade version to the old Cockrum, to the return of the old Cockrums. They were old friends, but their stories had been told.
Right. I was asking more about how they've recently written that the Legion's not even in the main DC continuity anymore.
Well, I'm kind of happy about that.
No.
Wow.
That's really all I can say about that matter. It's like Stephanie Brown. I'm sorry I've heard she's coming back because, oh God. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay? 2 things then. I have a couple mission statements. Business time, business mission statement.
Right.
Number one. We are in the business of providing serialized entertainment involving superheroes.
Okay.
We are a comics company, just with a slightly different format.
Mm-hmm.
In some very real ways.
Right.
My intention is to do to Marvel and DC what Marvel did to DC back in '61. I'm not going to destroy them, but I want to wake them up.
I saw that statement.
The other thing I want to say about that is, I was behind the counter of a store for 5-6 years. You know.
Right. I read that.
Right. I read the comics. I love the comics.
Okay.
But there's something that I saw, being the techie I am, and that was I saw the Indica. The little blob that was on little square box that was in them,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw 400,000 comics per year, 200,000 comics per year, 100,000 comics per year, 60. Today, what's the bestseller? 18,000.
About there, I would say.
City of Heroes was City's Heroes, with their free comic giveaway, was the biggest comic of the last 10-15 years. It had 200,000 issues printed per month.
Wow.
That's
at the beginning, at more actually. One copy to every person who had a subscription. We're probably not going to print physical comics, but the point is, we can bring superheroes back to the masses. There's an audience. Look at the movies. There is an audience. And look at the
Undoubtedly.
Kickstarter. There's an audience.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that I intend to break superheroes back out away from the comic book store, from direct sales, and bring them back to the equivalent of the supermarket and the newsstand. I want everyone to have the opportunity to have a superhero experience again.
awesome.
Nice.
Hey kid, comics.
Praise that.
All right. This form of storytelling, have you visited a lot of conventions in your spare time, or do you mostly do it as an industry guest these days?
Well, no, actually, I have a good story here. I'm sorry, but it just happened.
Oh, okay.
I'm a New Yorker. Guess where I was?
New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing is, I only became project lead recently. Our previous one had stepped down. He's got a PhD in computational intelligence. He's our AI guy and
Jeez.
our accountant. And he was going for his second master's in business, which is going to help us a lot.
And next week
He's
he's creating
also the
Ultron.
paladin in my D&D group, by the way. So he's still. He had stepped down as project lead. He is still with us. He is still a good friend. That being said,
It still throws
but
eels.
the
That's
shift,
good.
Sorry, the shift happened relatively recently, when the Comic-Con tickets were still for sale,
Mhm.
I was just an editor. I had to go get a scalp ticket because once you're project lead,
Mhm.
all of a sudden it becomes a business expense, something you have to do.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Okay.
I mean, I could not go because there were people I now professionally wanted to meet, and there were some good results. It turns out, I actually know the lead dev of WildStar. I knew him for a couple years. Complete coincidence. I wish them the best. By the way, NCSoft America had absolutely no control over what happened to the old game. As far as I understand things, and that may or may not be true.
Okay.
I met some people. I talked to Jim Steranko's agent about hiring some of the professionals that we all know who they are.
Mhm.
About that sort of thing, and he said his guys are slow and they're expensive, and you got to know exactly what you need. And I said, yes, thank you, and we will. I look forward seriously to having a Jim Steranko mural in City Hall.
That would,
Oh my
Nice.
god.
I'm just going. This. I will put my own money in to make this happen. I have it already. But this is what. If I want to say what comics they are, I want something right there that says, "This is who we are" in the middle of City Hall.
That would be a statement like no other. That would be for sure.
Very true.
But I met some people. I met some of my old. I met some professionals. I met people who knew who we are, who didn't know who we are, and good. I think some good things are going to happen out of that. And I learned a few things that kind of set my head in different places and thinking different things. It was definitely valuable. It was definitely important. But scalp tickets hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Have you,
don't want to think about that.
have you ever been to San Diego?
Yes, but not for this SDCC.
Oh yeah, I was in there for Comic-Con. People were offering to buy my badge every day as I walked around.
As I walked out, someone was offering to buy my badge, and there was an hour left in the day. I was like,
Wow.
no, I think I'll
Wow.
just. I was trying to meet. Evangelist?
Yes.
DJ Evangelist?
Yes.
Yes. As I said, I was trying to meet him there, and go, not happening.
Wow.
It's not happening. Oh,
Well-
it was fun though. There was a guy in a Mazinger Z costume, and that was great.
Oh damn.
And there was a guy in a 1980s. How can I say this? Breakdance Darth Vader costume. That's the only way I can say it. The Adidas jogging outfit, a big gold chain. He was 1980s hip hop Darth Vader, and there was no question who he was.
That's awesome. But as soon as you said breakdancing Darth Vader, I tried to picture Darth Vader with that huge helmet and no armor, and suddenly I've just pictured Rick Moranis' his dark helmet.
Yeah, but just the whole Run DMC except Bright Red, and it was absolutely perfect. Everyone knew exactly what he was doing, but okay, that's a concept.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, we've definitely established you have nerd cred. That is not that's not a question anymore. Are you the type of nerd though that knows all the actors that played the Doctor and can answer questions in Klingon and Elvish?
I'd like to say I'm fluent in JavaScript as well as Klingon, but no, I can't.
Nice
Okay, there we
reference.
go. At least we got that one through. I know. I actually never did bother to pick up Klingon or Elvish or Quainos. Actually, I think it is. And although I did spend a while trying to learn Esperanto, which tells you a little bit of my era of fandom.
Yeah.
I'm kind of right on the cusp between fanzines and the internet. I was on the internet before the September that never ended. If anyone actually knows that reference,
Okay.
and if you weren't there before the September that never ended, you probably don't.
Well, I think it's safe to say you've earned your card. I don't think we have any question of that anymore.
No, it's just. Well, if you want that, I was on the Steve Jackson bulletin board the day before the Secret Service shut down.
Oh, holy
Oh.
crap.
Yeah, but I was also number one knee high and number two not supposed to be calling Texas.
Oh, my God.
Yes, back then you had to call Texas to go do this sort of thing.
Oh, my God. There's going to be a bunch of people listening to this who just... They're going to have to look that up on the internet to understand it, I'm sure.
I'm looking it up. What the hell?
I think statute of limitations can say that, yes, you used to be able to make free calls with a paperclip and a payphone.
Yes.
The payphone.
Oh, my God.
The old black box, blue box, 2600 hertz whistle. I've done things, but my fandom is wide, my fandom is fairly deep, and I play guitar badly.
Holy crap. Man, this sounds like somebody we should just drag down to a bar at some point. I mean, you're talking to four people who met over City of Heroes. We were all in the same super group called Icons back in the day.
Good for you. I mean, what can you ask for? Actually, no. Let me tell you that.
Tell you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell a story again. Okay, story time. Once upon it, this is the reason why I joined this project. This is kind of the reason why I'm so determined to make this thing happen, which is kind of why I'm project lead now.
Okay.
Because I had at the time we needed, I had the willpower to just go. We are not stopping.
Okay.
Sometimes bad things happen, and you need that to happen, and you need to power through it.
It's
Once
true.
upon a time.
Settling, guys.
Once
This
upon
may
a
take a while.
time, the sky opened. and the flying saucers came down.
That's when we arrived.
That is when we arrived. Back when the end of beta.
Okay.
You know, the sky opened and the saucers came down, and the heroes who were about to die stood to fight them. And one man stood up, and he began to give a speech. And it borrowed a little from Shakespeare, and it borrowed a little from this and a little from that. And at first I thought he was a dev, but no, he was just a guy giving a speech, the kind of speech Captain America would give in the face of an unimaginable enemy. And I stood next to him, and I fought next to him. I fought all the way through Steel Canyon. We lost ground. We fought all the way back to the hospital. We fought inside the hospital. The Ricky were in the second floor, in the res chamber.
Wow.
We fought them back out. We fought them back out. And we fought them all the way to the train station, and then we started prowling the rest of the city, looking for them and hunting them down.
Jeez.
Nice.
And from that point on, we were friends. And I got to tell you, this guy was probably one of the nicest guys, most honest guys I've ever met. And he's somebody you may know. He turned out to be, because he was really that good a guy.
Okay.
His live character was named Ascendant.
Oh wow!
I've run across him.
Unfortunately, and there's kind of extension to this story. He was one of the people I will never have that experience again, but I know I can help other people have it. The thing is, you know, he I'm not going to say he was my everything, but he was, you know, that moment was motivation for me getting involved in this project. And he was the one person that I really wanted to, you know, get involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because among other things, he had two gifts. Number one, really good writing, clear, clean comedy writing.
Okay.
And number two, whenever you talked to him, he made it seem like he was not only listening to you, but paying attention to, because he was, and interested in what you had to say, because he was that kind of guy. I could never get in contact with him after the city closed down.
Aww.
And we later found out why.
Uh-oh.
He got very sick. It turned out he had kidney disease, and he didn't know it.
Oh.
And he passed away a couple months ago.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
His name was Trey Chipman, and he was a hell of a guy. Send it, yes.
Yeah, I guess that forwards a question that I didn't intend to bring up right now. Is there going to be a memorial to him in City of Titan somewhere?
I believe the answer is, oh God, yes. There will be I'd say there will be memorials to a number of people.
Okay.
Right now, the current at one point, and this was before we knew he was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At one point, we were thinking about calling the game, honest to God, Ascendant Online.
Oh.
Not because of him, just because somebody thought it was a good name. It is hard to find a name for a game, because you don't want to say don't want to have heroes in it.
Right.
And you don't want to tip the name toward heroes or villains.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So just Ascend. And every possible superhero name has been taken. Superhero, superpower, superhuman. Every single one of those has been taken. So you kind of had to go a long way to find it.
Okay.
Anyhow, so the thing is, someone who suggested Ascendant Online, they had no idea who he was. And people said, it's a good name. It's not the best name, but it's a good name. We could use it, but we really should contact Ascendant before using it.
Right.
And that was how we found out he'd been very, very ill. After he passed on, we decided that it would probably sound like bad taste to use that.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And we wound up with City of Titans, which frankly is a really good name. Right now, one of my current favorite answers is that there's going to be a bench with a payphone next to it and a guy waiting for a call. And his name is Saul.
Mm. Oh, wow. Wow, that's a very heartfelt story I wasn't expecting in the midst of all this.
Well, let me put it this way. Number one, welcome to life, and number two, welcome to superheroes.
True enough.
my personal favorite hero of all time remains Spidey, with Cap and Superman right after. But the thing is, it's not Spidey if there isn't pain.
That's undeniable at this point. To get us back into track here, when were you recruited to work on the Perk Council for City of Heroes?
I have no idea anymore. I sort of remember Sleep. No, it was as it was founded. I was either the first or the second Virtue representative, and my announcement of Perk lit the forums on fire. They didn't want things dictated to them. It was.
Wow.
I honest to God, I had to talk for the better part of 2 days to calm down that flame war.
You gotta admit, players in an MMO, they tend to get kind of proprietary and a little bit pissy sometimes when things get a sudden
And
shift.
the thing is, we weren't. We were only official because the devs said, you'd be good at this.
Right.
And whatever we did was, we maybe got some costume codes and that was about it.
Okay.
We put on some PvP events, some costume contests. We tried to do things a little bit more advanced than that, like mysteries and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a good time. We had some fun, and we made some fun. The Halloween turkey shoot was pretty good.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah, I was one of the people running around and we had a Alice in Wonderland themed thing that I don't remember what it was, but I found a picture of it the other day.
Okay. Well, obviously you're a pretty frequent player. Who is your signature go-to character?
Well, my signature has to be the one that I led the supergroups on. We had a group of supergroups at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the character actually shows up on IGN. One Up shows up in One Up because Sharky's group was making fun of me at the time. But that was La Pucelle, which was a broadsword super reflexes scrapper.
Holy crap! I
based
remember
off
her.
Joan of Arc.
Yeah, I remember seeing the pictures all over the forums. Wow, I'm suddenly taken back 10 years. This is awesome.
Yeah, seriously.
My signature villain was either Miseria Bella or Wrangler Annie.
I don't think I'm familiar with either of those. Anybody else?
One of them was kind of an Italian-looking character, obviously. The other one was a short cowgirl
Oh, okay.
who liked to punch things a lot.
Gotta love cow punchers.
Oh yeah.
Now, City of Heroes took a sudden downward spiral that a lot of us, even though we weren't regular players at the time.
I don't think it had a downward spiral. I think it was rising up to the very last day at
Really?
which it ended. No, I don't think it ever really had a downward spiral.
Okay.
Except it had a problem point during the Freem 15 period.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, we didn't even know that was happening till it was almost over.
I remember I enjoyed a lot of the development after it went free to play. I enjoyed a lot of the new features that they introduced.
And some of the stuff. This issue 25 was going to have the moon finally.
Yeah, a lot of us were looking forward to that. We were getting back in the game. Then we suddenly
And
heard it was closing.
I don't think I've forgotten about what was promised.
Oh.
What was promised will be delivered. Do you hear me?
Oh!
Yes.
I need a towel.
But seriously, in issue 24, there is a video of this. They were doing LUA scripting. The mission plots were going to the things that they were then allowed to do with characters and animations were going to be insane.
Oof. All right. Well, I mean, it's no secret that Missing Worlds Media has based a lot of this project on what was lost in City of Heroes. Cabot, what was your personal feeling when the game actually closed?
I ended it sitting in my favorite spot with my favorite people. And by this point, I'd already been involved in the project for about 4 or 5 months. So we hadn't been doing much because we agreed not to let the future overwhelm the present, if you see what I'm saying.
Right.
But so my feeling when it closed was, it's time to get to work.
If you have a comic book companion, you got to write that down as the last panel of the first issue.
However, there have been 2 points in City of Heroes where I felt like I was hit by an axe. One of them was the announcement, and the other one was a day in City of Villains beta. And can anyone guess what that day was?
No, honestly.
I remember something bad happening, but I'm drawing a damn blank.
Oh, it was the day that it was the Friday, I believe it was, that they revealed enhancement diversification, and then said anyone who mentions this on the public forum gets their account canceled. You say nothing. They did that to us, and then insisted nobody say anything.
Ow.
Not happening.
Jeez.
I gotta tell you. No, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
I agree it was necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It was also done entirely the wrong way.
That I can agree with.
But yeah, it was necessary. It had to be done for the IOs to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
God, could you imagine 6 slotting damage IOs?
Yeah. Yep. Already did it.
We had some ugly completionists on our teams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jesse's a numbers man, so he had to try.
I crunched a lot of numbers. I still can't believe I managed to only do 20 fucking points to your mastermind.
Oh my god, please don't get into this again. This could
I
take
did some
hours.
number crunching as well.
I just did things that broke number crunching, and I mean that literally. My corruptor used to fight scrappers in melee.
Jesus.
We had back in Virtue. We had what was called Fight Night, the Golden Giza, where we just randomly do arena duels with each other for fun.
We did that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you were there?
No, but
No, we did that amongst ourselves with a lot of yelling over TeamSpeak.
All right, so here we go.
No,
I took out I used to fight, just for example, Spines Regen Scrappers toe to toe with the Corruptor. How'd I do it?
Radiation.
That's a
magic.
Sonic Dark.
nice.
I could see
Oh,
that.
Gotcha.
yes.
Gotcha.
I was going to guess Game Genie.
I did it reverse as a defender.
Nope. I summoned Fluffy, Dark Servant, and stood in him.
Wow. And to give people a little concept as to how difficult that is, a Corruptor is an area effect character not really known for its upfront punching ability.
Yeah, range damage.
It's think of it as a debuff specialist versus a DPS thief or something.
Right.
Yeah.
So in theory, the rogue should go bam bam down to the Corruptor.
Jesus.
So what happened was I would summon the Dark Servant and stand in him, and the debuff aura from the Servant. Nobody actually realized I was doing this, and they never targeted Fluffy. So I would just tear them apart.
Nice.
Oh, no.
That's
Because
just-
they think, why aren't you flying around? You're just standing there for me, and I'm like, come get it.
Yeah.
I'm not scared of you. Come on.
I know, but
I'll use my rage. Come get me.
There's something to be said about how intimidating it is when Fluffy says, "Come get some."
You do know who Fluffy? I'm just saying that was a nickname that just spread for that guy, right?
Yes. Oh, wow. Well, I mean, that brings us into the current project, City of Titans. You guys have a Kickstarter that's currently going. It still has 16 days to go. It'll probably be closer to 14 by the time we get this up for people to listen to. You had a goal of 30...
You know why? You know the reason we chose that? Chose the original number of 33 days. I hope.
No.
Oh, okay. Brief tangent. A week after the announcement of the closure, a bunch of people said, we're going to have a show of support for City of Heroes. Everybody get to Atlas Park on this date.
Okay.
I think it was September 8th. We intended to kickstart September 8th. We missed it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just get to Atlas Park and stand there. There is a created video of all the people who wound up standing there. We
Saw
filled
that.
up 33 Atlas Parks.
Jesus.
And number one,
Nice.
the game stayed together. Think about that. 33 instances in one zone,
Right.
and the game did not crash.
Wow.
Number
That's-
two, we kept
wow.
the Atlas Park 33 alive until the game closed.
Jesus Christ.
That was the moment I said, you know what? There's support out there. We're going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, the others have not heard me speechless very often. You did it.
Oh, there's a great video. It was by, I believe, Leandro.
Mhm.
If you want, let me try to find it right now.
Okay, we'll make sure to link it eventually to this so everyone can see what at least we went through. But the current Kickstarter had a goal of $320,000. You've already surpassed that with $456,106, and you still have a little under half your project to go.
Yeah, we do. And no, we have a lot more than half of a project to go, but just yeah.
As far as the time the Kickstarter is available.
Yep.
So there is no question now that this is happening. But how long prior to the Kickstarter have you been working on this, or has it been in production?
We've been working on it literally a full year.
Oh.
That was part of why we decided to kickstart. Was what before we say we're willing to kickstart, we had to say we are here for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and one of the things we did was we said, can we stay together for a full year? And we did. Without any hope, without any promise, certainly not expecting the kind of return we got.
Mm-hmm.
We just said, can we stay together and stable? Because I hate to tell you this. I've been a nerd, a geek, whatever, for a long time. I know what happens when you get a bunch of people together to do something as volunteers.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
The first one is
Yes.
drama, and the second one is explosions.
Right.
And like I said, and I'm not going to say there weren't some.
Mm-hmm.
There were some. I actually had to write a post about one of them. And the thing is, after we came out of that, we are stronger and more together, and we can and will stay together for the long term because we have proven that we could without any hope of reward. After this massive outpouring of support,
mm-hmm.
There's commitment there.
Right.
Just and it is. I hate to say it. It is a heck of a stroke of an ego to have that kind of commitment aimed at you.
That's undeniable. And we've been discussing it amongst ourselves, and one of the things we noticed was at the $10 level, your name or whichever name as far as your donation to the Kickstarter will be added to the Atlas Hurricane Memorial Park. That got us talking as to whether or not this game will have more references to its spiritual predecessor.
Well,
I mean,
there's certainly going to be enough. We're very cautious about intellectual property.
Right.
Right.
But Atlas is a legitimate name for a hurricane, and I'm not going to give that much away more to say we had to have something wipe the deck clean for a next generation of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened to be a hurricane named Atlas.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So there were a lot of heroes who fought to save it, and there were a lot of people who died in that hurricane.
All right. This makes a lot of sense now.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going through. Do you have any of the base ways that City of Titans is going to differ from City of Heroes?
Well, to start with, and this is a very real thing, it is 10 years later.
Ooh. Almost
The game
chronologically.
Gaming itself has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just want to say I never asked for this, but that's beside the point. Anyhow, the electronic old men, yes. Anyhow, God, now I'm remembering my Warren Spector story. So, I'm sorry, I've got a sidetrack now that I remember this. So there I am, hanging out on the internet with some friends, one of whom works for Steve Jackson Games.
Okay.
Okay? But that's fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is coincidental. I just happen to know this guy. And out of absolutely nowhere, he goes, "Hey, Cabot, is Warren Spector still working for Disney? I got to mail him this check." I'm like, "Can't you ask?" Yes, he is. He just launched this huge game for them today, and can't you ask the HR department? He's like, "Oh yeah, but you're faster." Oh God, yes. Anyhow, I don't know why. Anyhow, so that being said, how is it going to differ? Well, number one, it's 10 years later. Technology has evolved. We can do things that City of Heroes never was able to do. For example, stretching.
Oh.
Oh.
That'll be
Yes.
so fun.
Okay. Now there are strong considerations of growth of growth powers, but there is a problem, and that's one that we can't resolve, which is if you're fighting inside, how are you going to
Right.
let's say how are you going to have you fight inside without limiting your character? I mean that it's no longer a technical limitation. It's a
Conceptual?
reality.
Conceptual
breaking.
limitation and the play limitation, how we keep it fun. The thing is, number one, what we've learned, what we've learned is where things went wrong. I remember how you could not change colors in your powers for the longest time?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
are making everything modular.
Oh, sweet.
Nice.
So let me repeat this. We have something called the socket system, where you take your power and you choose where it comes out from. You
okay,
give yourself
that's
a gun
awesome.
and have your fire blast come from the gun, from your eyes, from your mouth, from your hands, from your center of your chest, from your right or left shoulder. We have to work on your feet.
That adds a new joke to
Choose-
burning sensation.
That's the one place it's not coming from. Okay?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry, V.
But your mouth is a possibility, and I'm sure people will enjoy that one. The feet are questionable. It's a long story on that. It depends on whether it looks good or not. But the thing is, not only can you choose the emanation point, you can choose the animation.
Oh, wait.
Oh, thank you.
Do you want it to be a laser blast, a plasma beam, a napalm spray?
Wow.
That's
Did I mention you can choose the color? And
I think we're
maybe
past
if we can
that.
get to it, some of the effects.
Oh, my
And I
God.
mean effects, not results.
As
Why don't
much...
you have the character creator out yesterday?
That is our first project, and the thing is, we're going to have the character creator up before the full game.
Oh, my God.
Awesome.
I can just imagine the post about people awed, and then a few others going, well, why did you do it that way? Why couldn't you do it in pink?
Jeremy, the person that created Rock has
It's more from there.
no.
It's like this is the stuff you. This is the stuff you know.
Mhm.
So the stuff that we're doing different is stuff that's hard to explain until you get into it.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Jesus.
But our character creator is going to have the chat built in, so we're going to be using that chat to test our authentication system and communication servers.
You mean voice chat, I assume?
No.
Oh.
Voice. We are definitely not including voice chat in the core game. We're just including text.
Okay.
There are quite a few people who do not like the idea of voice chat being integrated in the game, because if it becomes integrated, it becomes effectively mandatory.
Oh, but I so
And a lot
enjoy
of-
12-year-olds giving me smack on Halo.
You understand the issue then? Yes. There are. We will be just to go on. We are not actually. We will be able to change the backgrounds in in the character designer. You'll be able to load pictures or even get pictures from us, so the character appears in different locations. We will be able to change the lighting sources. So everyone's done the thing where they create a costume and then walk out into the tutorial and go, oh wait, they don't match in data.
Yeah. I so
We're
get that.
We're fixing that.
Nice.
Movable chest emblems. Over your heart, middle of
Oh,
center.
nice.
And more than that, but I can't talk about them right now.
Oh.
That's fine. I like surprises.
I don't know, I'm
slide
gonna
it
cry
down
now.
to your shoulder and have it go down your arm. Okay, fine.
Jeez.
And this is stuff we know we can do. I
Okay.
mean, we know it works. But not just that. But yes, now? Let's see. We've given you a background. We've set the lighting. Now, if there was only one more thing you could do to make your character look good, and that would be, pose it. So if you're going to ask, what are we doing differently?
Yeah.
Here did a lot of things right. The things that it's done wrong, we're fixing.
Yes.
But differently, I don't know so much as enhancing. Enhancing, extending, embracing.
Right.
Differently. I'm not going to say we're not going to do anything differently,
Mhm.
but we are coming at it from a different perspective and rebuilding and extending and embracing.
Well, I think you've given us so much hope that pretty soon Jesse's going to need a hug.
Yeah, but I'm not volunteering.
That's actually one of our biggest technical challenges.
Hugging?
Two-person emotes. We're trying to figure out how to do that because who's played Saints Row 4 or 3?
I haven't yet, I admit.
Oh,
I
okay.
played
One
Saints Row.
Volition is
I've
one of
seen
us.
four.
We had the discussion, Black Freight, right?
Yes.
Yep. But one of the things that Saints Row is a good character creator, but one of the things you can't really do is change your shoulder width or your arm length. And
Okay.
that's because of the takedowns, which are wrestling throws.
Right.
You know, if you change your shoulder width or your arm length, all of a sudden those things don't work and you clip right through the suckers.
Right.
We are working on two-person emotes. You know, we're trying to get it so that despite the fact that you can go from Themataloid, Flipper Boy, to I don't know, Stretchy Arms Man, we are trying to figure out a way to make these things work for you. Despite that, it's definitely a technical challenge.
Okay. Damn. You just bent my mind in so many fun ways.
And that is just a character creator. Wait till you see the missions.
Oh my god.
Let me put it this way: the worst boss is no longer going to be an exploding desk. There we go. We've run into the exploding desk. I'm going to be honest. We are going to steal from everybody.
Oh, I love it.
The Secret World is certainly somebody to watch. You know, they have different kinds of missions that aren't about punching people in the face. I know it's superheroes. You got to punch people in the face. But how many times has Batman snuck in through a window, rifled the desk, then get noticed and have to fight his way out?
Countless.
Yes.
Countless times.
Enough to be the cliche, yeah.
Our goal is to emulate superheroes, and by God, we're going to try to pull it all off.
That's awesome. I mean, I still personally remember
people who should know better in the middle of Central Park. You know that one, right? Every X-Men crossover ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going for that one too.
Okay.
Yeah, I personally remember back when they were first talking about bringing out City of Heroes, and they were asking for play ideas from people that were, just tossing around ideas for how to do missions. And, would you be the type of person to, bust in through the roof and try to take out the bad guys in a bank vault situation, hostage situation, or would you be the guy coming in from this front door? Would you be doing, the stealth type kills? But I don't think they actually kind of pulled that off. So this sounds something similar to that.
Stealth kills are a tricky thing. And when I say tricky, I mean solo, they're fine.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, but you get a
as soon as you
group
get
of
people on the team,
Yeah.
two of them are going to be punching while the other guy's diffing around in the attic.
Right.
I often ended up soloing because I like stalkers.
Oh, yeah. I just say the stalker. He went. Everyone else just goes phew, while the stalker's going. I'm going like this guy up and.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was usually the meat tank. You told us about one of the power sets that's going to be added that's different from what we played in City of Heroes. Are there any dream powers that you want to put in this game? Is there anything you want on the table?
Powers, no.
Okay.
But there's definitely something I want to put in this game.
What is that?
Well, first you got to get down the Batmobile, and then you got to get to the Batmobile.
I think I've just have I just given an offer? What the hell was that?
It's been there. The vehicle's been a part of the games, part of comics since the beginning. I want them in. The problem is, of course, that we have to have a place where it makes sense for them to be because they are of a scale larger than the hero.
Right.
So we have to have play. Now remember, our goal in here is whatever we do, it has to be fun.
Yes.
Number two, our other goal is whatever we do, you can customize it like mad. So, you are going to be able to build anything from something that looks remarkably like Kit, again, no intellectual property, to something that looks like, Gravedigger.
Yes.
On fire with a giant clown on the top and ghost circling it,
It makes it sound
With
like
a
Ghost.
rocket engine stuck in the rear.
That's
And
awesome.
chainsaw.
Makes it sound like Ghost Rider with an inferiority complex.
There we go. So anyhow, what I want to make vehicles not only exist, be customized, be fun, but not something that winds up crowding up the entire street. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right.
Because the next thing that happens is you're going to have a parking lot in the middle of Atlas Plaza as everyone just piles in and then honks the horn for 20 hours straight in the middle of Atlas Plaza.
Maybe
That would be as real life as it gets. I can't get my monster truck through. Move your plane.
maybe you can only have a vehicle if you have a base.
we're working on 5 million things. Although I got to admit, for supergroup vehicles, I want a duck.
Oh, yes, you must.
You know what duck is? Ride the ducks.
No, but I like rubber duckies.
UKW, amphibious World War II.
Oh, okay.
Oh, of course.
Yes,
Yes.
sorry.
Oh.
Gotcha.
All right. Do you guys have any questions for him? I feel like I'm monopolizing time here.
Um,
Will there be
Yeah,
an
go for it.
in-game tailor?
Oh, I mean, yes, of course. Number one. Number two.
I was just making sure.
What's the going to be? Because one of the things. Seriously, this is a philosophy question. And sometimes you just want to get in and punch things,
Yeah.
and we want this game to reflect the amount of effort that the player puts into it. We want to have an experience for the player from the time he gets in to the time he hits 50. That is a completely catered experience. Number one. Number two, though, we want him to be able to go. Once you stop, if you want, you can stop it, go off and explore, and wherever you go, the more time you spend, the deeper it gets. The Taylor is one example of one of those system areas where you can stop to explore. And the more you explore, the deeper it gets. You will be doing things and making costumes that you never even imagined.
I'm excited already.
Now, the other question, of course, is who's our Taylor going to be?
of
It
course.
might very well wind up being one of the people who actually paid to be an in-game character.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
I'm just going. That might be our iconic Taylor.
Wow.
Or it might wind up being a very special person of some other kind, which might be interesting.
Hmm.
Wow. Now, there's so much to look forward to. I'm befuddled. I saw in your Kickstarter that there were a lot of stretch goals added. How likely is it going to be that there will be some of the things that City of Heroes put in expansions, like wings, capes, auras?
They're all going to be there eventually.
Okay.
The only question is how fast. The reason why our mastermind equivalent class is last is because it includes everything else in the world to be a mastermind with all the pets. And yes, the pets are going to be customizable. The only question is how much. Are we going to have gorilla pets and then you can dress up the gorillas? Or are we going to have pet objects where you get to design exactly what the pets look like? And those gorillas could wind up being clowns or robots.
Oh, that's cool.
That's one of those really active points under discussion where people are having opinions on it, and we're trying to figure out what the best way to go is.
Now I need the towel. Masterminds were my favorite class.
I know, but
I'll tell you something right now. I have a completely mind-blowing, optional user interface experience for Masterminds. It involves having a separate tablet.
Oh.
Yeah,
So using a tablet in addition to the PC or whatever you're being able to play on?
Yeah.
A 2-screen experience.
Uh-huh. For your,
Oh, you're stealing from Nintendo now.
Yeah, you can think about Shadowrun Returns or not.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, think of it that using a tablet to control your minions.
Wow.
Aw.
I'm
That one's going to not be at launch. I'll tell you that one. That is we are. That's one of the things I mean by extending.
Right.
You know,
Jesus.
you take the idea and then you just push it. And it is possible. It is possible. I've seen a tech demo. It wasn't one of ours, but I've seen a tech demo where something like that worked in a completely different environment. Right. But it is technically possible for something like that to actually function.
Okay.
I just don't know if we'll be able to pull it off.
All right. That's you got us interested. I mean,
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything else you want to ask?
I mean,
Come on.
Yeah, I got some.
All right, Jesse, go ahead.
Bob's guitar. I don't care.
No, one of the things I find kind of annoying because I always go to mids and plan my characters out and whatnot. But every time we go in and start playing the game, I suddenly forget my fucking plan.
I was wondering if you would. I'll tell you a couple plans. Okay, we are you. I mean, we are fans. Not only are we a group of fans, we're a group of fans from all over the fandom.
Right?
Yeah.
Coming together from all over the world. Okay, just that's number one statement. Number two, that means we've run into the same things you have repeatedly. We also came from the Titan Network. You know, that's part of why it's Titan City in the first place. Besides the fact that City of Titans is an awesome name.
Right.
Tony V is still working with us, and although not as much as he used to because he's got his own thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say this is guess where Mids comes from?
Right.
The Titan Net. As well as the Paragon Wiki, by the way, which was Tony V's personal thing.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
We
Okay,
intend-
awesome.
Yes, we intend to have fully integrated, and by which I mean fully integrated versions of everything that Titan Network did. You know, we want not only, you know how the costume creator lets you download the costumes
Yes.
and upload the costumes.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to integrate Mids. We're going to have it so that, you know, our theoretical auction house, you know, you build the design, you check your inventory, you go this. It will tell you what you need, what you have to do to build this, what you have to do to go this. If you have everything, it will load it into you. Provided you have a respec. Respecing costs are kind of, you know, maybe you'll get a free one a week, maybe we'll have to do a trial. It's up for debate. You know, there's a bunch of player experience things that have to be refined before we do it. But the point is, you know, if you spend your time doing mids, and remember, the great thing about mids was it helped you design level by level, if you felt
Yes.
like, as well as just the, you know, so we're not forgetting that part. I'm just, you know, but we will, you know, we're going to integrate so that you will be able to go upload and, you need this, and we're hoping for multiple builds at launch. We're not sure if we'll make it, but we're hoping for multiple builds. You know, and it'll say you need to buy this, and this, and here's what they cost in the market, and here's where you should go looking for them, and you know, whole 9 yards.
Okay. Awesome.
Whatever, you know, and if people come up with new tools or stuff, we look forward to trying to make them better as well.
All right. Well, speaking as player to player, then something that we did have a question about: how is your system going to counter the grind that's usually encountered in MMOs?
Oh,
Well, it's only grind if you're not having fun.
A truer statement I have not heard.
What?
A truer statement I have not heard. Yeah, the grind is
if you're not having
so
fun.
negative.
That's what I was saying about, you know, the systems revealing themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The harder you push a system, the more you'll get out of it. So wherever you find the system that you have fun in, you'll be able to go. Let's say that there is Architect Entertainment. Fine, you know, there is a plot line.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the thing is, here's one of our big things: our paths.
Paths.
I'll be honest, raids existed in City of Heroes, but the real end game was starting again.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
You know? And we recognize that. So, you know, we're not doing voiceovers. Maybe, you know, what you call important words, maybe and that sort of thing.
Right.
You know, yeah, think Simlish, think Charlie Brown, whatever. Although it won't be complete wah-wah-wah.
Wah, wah.
Right.
But, you know, we are skipping voiceover for a very simple reason.
Okay.
It lets us add more stories. We are going to have, imagine, if you will, the entire experience of City of Heroes.
Right.
Now, you know the Kelds had their own plot line.
Yes.
Right.
You know, now you remember how they revised the introduction to have the shooting stars?
Right.
Yes.
Which I enjoy.
Imagine a shooting stars quality storyline that leads you from your start to the end. Now, number one. Number two, theme it. You want to protect the city. You want to be a protector. You want to take over the world. Be a conqueror. You want to be feared and hated by those you protect or destroy. Be a monster like the X-Men or Solomon Grundy.
Okay.
I was just about to ask about that.
Yeah, no, I'm just going, you know, the whole feared and hated by the world that you either protect or want to destroy. You want to be a hero cop. You want to be a thug. You want to be a gang lord. You want to be an adventurer. Go explore the unknown, like Mr. Fantastic. You want to be a street hero like Power Man or The Thing. The Thing is a street hero that goes adventuring with his adventurer team leader all the time.
Right.
We are going to have 10 or more stories from 0 to 50 at launch. And the thing is, we keep adding more.
Yes.
You know how Star Wars The Old Republic was, we're going to have different class stories for you?
Yes.
Right.
Well, our stories aren't tied to class. You can just keep doing them any way you want.
Right.
Yes.
At this point,
You want to be a detective? You want to be a cat burglar? Anything that we can think of, we're putting in.
I am
I mean
freaking.
that in a controlled and thematic and well-scripted way. Oh, but there's more than that.
There's more.
Your decisions make a difference. The biggest complaint I had in City of Heroes
Mhm.
was that you always felt you were somebody's lackey when you were a villain. You
Okay.
take control. That Conqueror I was talking about,
Yes.
You can
you
conquer.
have the option to take over the world at least once.
Oh,
Nevertheless,
I am freaking
about
awestruck.
5 minutes afterwards, a whole bunch of spandex is going to pour down from the sky and punch you in the face. Take over the world. You
but
get
you'll
it.
have one for 5 sweet minutes.
You'll be digging them out, and
Look,
then
you
they'll
asked,
take
this
it
is
down.
comics.
If this was a video interview, this is the moment where you just hold up the mic sideways, drop it on the stage, and walk away. Oh my freaking god!
But wait, there's more.
See, that's the safe experience. That's that guided tour from 0 to 50 I was talking about.
Oh,
So do we
What
get
else?
a project manager or salesman? I don't know.
I'm the project lead. That's both. We've got some. Like I said, one of our people has a PhD in computational intelligence,
yes.
Right.
working on a way for you to fully customize your play experience. If you wanted to be the cat burglar who's obsessed over cats, we can try to make it so that you can fight cat-themed enemies and steal cat-themed objects on a long and involved plot line that you. Let's to make it to simplify it greatly. We're talking choose your own adventures plus Mad Libs. That's called our lead system because it's based on finding leads and getting clues,
Wow.
like
Wow.
a detective.
I have a host of questions, but I think
But
we
the
could be
thing
here
is,
all
that's
damn night.
like I said, that's our experimental system.
Right.
Um,
Jesus Christ.
You know,
Like we are really big on story.
Yeah.
But once again, let me repeat:
Mhm.
the more people in a team, the less they want to pay attention. We know this.
That's true.
This is yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you've given us so much to talk about. In a couple of weeks, at least 3 of us are going to be sitting in the same room, I'm sure, drinking Mountain Dews and just getting stupid over what you've told us. But I have one more question that I have, at least, and I know it's going to come up because we have several people we still talk to from the game. Supergroups, what kind of locations can they get for bases? City of Heroes, just about all of them felt like underground bunkers of some sort.
Well, actually, we've covered a couple of those.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, they all. To be honest, they kind of all. Supergroups do kind of wind up feeling like underground bunkers one way or the other, anyhow, after a couple of assaults. But that's beside the point. You pound Titan Tower and you pound Titan's Tower down a few times, and yeah.
That's
But
true.
you know, whatever the things we're doing, you know, one of the things we're selling, you know, is the option to own a skyscraper, and
Yeah, it made me really wish I had $7,500.
I thought this was the $500. Anyhow,
Oh, the $500 add-on.
He's talking about the mogul.
and have a penthouse base.
Mhm.
Another one is a collection of secret entrances, so you could have it behind a bar,
Ooh.
or you know, in a mechanic shop, and you know you and how this is going to work. Just you know, is you're part of a supergroup, and you are the person who paid this money,
Mhm.
so you get to apply your door to the base. Not everybody can apply that door, but once you apply
Oh.
the door, the rest of the team can get in.
I see. Okay.
So
It's-
you know, you have to actually in the base builder. You go, piece unlocked, place door, and then you know save base, and then you open the door and walk out into the mechanic shop, and then people can walk in through that door.
Nice.
Wow.
That again, you know, we're going to try for Windows. We're going to try for a whole bunch of things. We're going to try for a whole bunch of environments, you know, to make your base more comfortable and more interesting.
Mhm.
And I'm going to tell you something. There's one thing involving bases that we figured out a way to pull off that City of Heroes never did, and I'm not going to
Base
say what it
raids?
is, but I think you know what it is.
Base
battle.
raids.
Yes.
I say nothing.
Oh, damn it! Well, I mean, are there other environments we can purchase so that we can get things that feel more like apartments for single characters?
We're working on it. There are some challenges, and number one of which, of course, is being that we need the tools, which we were kickstarting for.
Right.
Right.
in order to make the arts.
Okay.
The other thing I can say, is we are opening up our mission environments, which means that there will be more parts for the bases.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
The more places we put missions, the more objects you get for the base, because we need different art for the missions.
I see.
That's really clever.
Face it, we reuse things, but only because it becomes useful that way.
Okay, man. This gives me a lot to hope for.
There was one more point, but I forgot what it was. But I'll figure it out.
It's okay. We've actually kept you for much longer than I thought we would. Does anybody else have anything you want to ask Mr. Hare here?
Comic books, come on, robots.
Okay, what was your favorite thing to do in City of Heroes? Mine was Mayhem missions.
Oh, you want a story about Mayhem missions?
Oh boy.
Sure.
I got a Mayhem
Speaking of
mission story, but
PvP
that was
and
before
Fight Night at the
Mayhem.
Golden Giza. Did I say this one yet?
Huh?
No, you didn't. The Golden
so.
Giza.
Okay. Fight Night at the Golden Giza was, a bunch of people in Virtue getting together once a week to have arena battles. I've
Right.
gone through that. Once upon a time, we had the best. It was the last night, last fight of the night, where everybody just teamed up and went in together. As a massive 16 versus 16 or whatever. I forget whether it was 8 versus 8 or 16. I don't remember what the max was. I forgot. Anyhow, and the game glitched.
Ooh.
Oh.
It does. It does that sometimes by throwing people into other people's missions.
Mhm.
It did the most awesome thing ever.
What?
It threw us into some poor guy's mayhem mission.
Oh,
So this
he flagged in a mayhem mission.
was he by himself when he suddenly found 16 other numbnuts running around?
Oh yes, and after we figured out what was going on, we just said, this is awesome. Just hang out and watch. And he was like, "Yeah, okay, I'm going to win this. I'm going to win this, and just you smash things, guys. This is." And we were like, "Yeah," and so we spent the entire, as long as we possibly could, smashing everything we could, including each other, through things, on things.
Awesome. Did he get time for it? Like the additional time?
Yeah, because it wasn't calculated. It wasn't programmed to not understand people not in the team smashing things. If that makes sense.
Nice.
So we just everything. Oh God, Independence Port never was the same again.
oh,
This sounds like the
awesome.
Sinister Six was suddenly dropped in the middle of LexCorp headquarters.
Yeah. The best. Of course, my favorite thing to do was just to hang out with friends. I'm sorry, but if I have to count, it was the way that I went out with the game. Was hanging out in the middle of Galaxy Park with a bunch of good Gemini Park in Galaxy City with a bunch of good friends, saying just goodbye.
Aw.
Well, you've given us a heck of a lot to think about. I want to thank you personally for the time you spent with us. I know you're in a different time zone. It's a little late.
It's not that. It's only almost midnight. Actually, there is one thing I want to say. Okay,
Please.
there have been some questions about the Kickstarter,
Okay.
and they're reasonable questions, and I just want to address them.
Sure.
People have said this is not enough money to make a game.
What?
Yeah, no, MMOs are expensive.
I understand that, but I mean, you were asking for $320,000. To me, that's a significant investment for a start of anything.
It's really not if you look at the breakdown.
Okay.
It's all going to software. There's one very important thing that's not listed there, and that's the servers, because we already have the test servers.
Ooh. Okay.
This is not enough. This is enough. People say it's not enough money to make the game, and considering that we're not using salaries, it's enough money to make the game.
Okay.
Right, I would
Not enough money
imagine
to
that labor is a pretty hefty cost on any MMO, and
Yes.
since you guys are all
But the
volunteering your
point is-
time, that's
Yes, the point is,
Mhm.
it's enough to make the game, but it's not enough to push it live. The development, the final servers, the launch environment.
Okay.
That's dead true. That's true. The thing is, okay, thanks to the amount of backers and the amount of money we have now proven that there is an audience for this game.
Oh. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, we now have enough money to make the game.
Mhm.
Not all, and the thing is, an MMO is 90% content and 10% game.
Yes.
So if we make the game, and we make a good amount of content,
We can walk into any bank in the world and go, worst case, we can walk into any bank in the world and go, we need a business loan. We have this, we have this, we have this. And the bank will go, yeah, this looks good. We're going to give you this $2 million or whatever we need for the launch servers.
Okay.
And you're going to pay us back. And we go, yeah. And they'll say, this is a reasonable risk. Boom, approved. Because we've managed to prove with the Kickstarter, every backer counts. I mean, even a $5 backer counts because we're going to be walking in one day. Maybe we'll get what's called an angel investor.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping we don't have to go to a traditional publisher, but maybe we'll go to a non-traditional publisher. I mean, God forbid, pipe dream. Let's say Valve came in and said, we want you to be our first MMO. We'll go,
That would be amazing.
that sounds a pretty good idea. Yeah, okay. I mean, there will be discussion over this, but I'm just going, for example.
Right.
Right.
Valve says, we want you to be our first MMO. We're pretty sure that sounds like a good idea. Okay, guys. So, this is enough money to make sure the game gets made. And since we are able to make will be able to make the game, we will be able to get it out.
I think
because we have proven that there is an audience, and one way or another, we can get that final financing when we need it, which is several years from now.
Okay.
No sense buying launch servers till it's ready, right?
Yeah. I think it's safe to say you've made at least 4 more backers here. We're just trying to decide on what levels.
Oh, I already backed.
All right. I want to thank you very much for coming on with us, Chris. We really appreciate it.
Like I say, if you want other members, we've got our tech lead, we've got a whole bunch of other people. If you want to talk to a crazy Swedish musician, we're good for that too.
Well, we may have to check back in with you.
Check out our updates. Listen to the stuff Hell Wreckage makes. It's great. He's very influenced by Two Steps from Hell. You know the band?
No.
Again, check it out on YouTube. Two Steps from Hell.
2 Steps from Hell.
They make what's basically called, I call it the genre of epic movie music. Really listenable stuff.
All right. Awesome. Well, we will be sure to check back in a few weeks and see how things are going after the Kickstarter is ended.
We're going to all pass out for a week and then get to work.
Excellent! All right. Thank you very much for coming on with us.
Take care. I'm out.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Ah, jeez, that was amazing. Thank you very much.
Dude. That's...
Steve.
Yeah.
I'm
Two
excited.
Steps from Hell. We've heard this guy. Jimmy was playing it a couple months back.
Oh, my God.
Orchestra music, yeah.
Oh!
Okay, so you guys are more familiar with it. Well, that was the first of our surprises for this week. I have a second one.
Okay. Yeah, you alluded to this yesterday. What's up?
You are not going to believe this, but I've already lined up our next interview.
Okay.
With who?
Are you guys familiar with the show Fangasm?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
It's a show on Sci-Fi currently running. It's going to be running the next 2 Tuesdays. I think they currently have it on at 11 o'clock. And I was making some posts on Twitter about it. Somebody responded, and I thought it'd be funny if it was actually him. And it actually was. We are going to have Andrew Duvall from the show on.
Whoa.
Nice.
So that means all of you may have to watch some TV in the near future. It amazes me he said yes, but he did.
Wow.
That's...
It's
We're hitting the big times.
doesn't and we have one more in the pipe, but I don't want to say any more until the other one says yay or nay. But we'll see. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Next week we'll get to the Promised Villains month. We had to push it back, obviously, because this Kickstarter is still going on for City of Titans. Everybody check it out on Kickstarter. Look it up under City of Titans. You may find it with the subtitle of The Phoenix Project. Thank you very much. Have a great week. I am Jeremy.
Steve?
Jesse?
And V.
Thank you very much.
Oh, man.
Man, that is 3 hours of my life I am not getting back.
Yeah.
Man.